Hello. What's cracking, y'all? What is cracking? What's up, Gracie? All right, y'all. Give me a sec to wake up and set up. Someone texted me that I was live on YouTube. I think I fat fingered a button that made me go live, and I said, "F it, let's go, let's go live." Yellow,
Hello.
what's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Sure am.
All right. What do you like about Trump?
Better than Kamala.
Better than how so?
Better leader.
Better leader?
Yep.
I don't know, man. It seems like Trump can't get along with his own people. He had 95% turnover in his last administration, and he's already breaking up with Elon Musk right now.
Screw Elon Musk. He's a traitor.
How's he a traitor?
Gus.
What?
He hates America. Is what it is.
He spent $200 million on his campaign.
He kissed my ass.
I don't get it. It seems like he cares a lot. He's trying to sway our politics.
I'd take a dump on his chest if I could.
He might like that. Is there anything else you want to say about why you like Trump?
I want to sign a petition to take a dump on Elon's chest.
Hey, if you're into that, go for it, man. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you for having me up.
Anytime.
Taking a dump on Elon's chest is my MO. So,
Let's go. All right.
you know Kamala. Screw her.
That's not nice.
Screw y'all bitches in the comments.
You don't want to you don't want to say anything else? You don't want to talk about anything else?
Yeah, I ain't got much in my mind.
All right, bro. Take it easy.
Screw y'all bitches in the comments.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. Chat, how we doing? Good morning. Happy Saturday? Yeah, Saturday. We're a week into June. I woke up feeling pretty good today. Usually it takes a lot for me to wake up. I'm feeling decent. What's up, Shiggy? I'm feeling decent. We were up till I think 3 or 4 last night playing the new Dune game. It is so good. If anybody's into playing MMOs and is a fan of Dune, it is so good. It is absolutely insane. It is so beautiful. I won't harp on it so much, but it's so good. I need my medicine. I didn't fill any of my medicines. What server? I play on Odin. I play on Odin server. I played on the lowest, whatever sub region of the Odin server had the lowest population last night is what I chose. I don't remember what it was. I thought Odin was a pretty dope server name too. Cheers, chat. Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
I did not vote Trump, but I kind of just had like a question, if possible.
What's up?
So I've been watching you for a while. I love your debate style. I think you're a great debater. And today I was on this live with like, oh my God, like 6 Trump supporters or something like that. Like I was alone basically, and they just like they kept saying that I'm just regurgitating stuff that like all these other people say, and like all this random stuff saying that like, oh, all my facts are just like whatever. I brought up like the Trump Gaza video, and they were like, oh my God, wow, you really think that AI video is like what he really wants to do? And they were like asking me for like the building plans that they're gonna do there, and I'm like, why would they have that? Why would he have the building plans for this stuff? Like obviously not. Like are we really using our brains here? And like I don't know, man. I've just been like I haven't been seeing a lot of Trump supporters recently, and like I kind of thought that like a lot of people just started building a frontal lobe or something, and they just started realizing all the bad things that are going on. But I'm honestly surprised, and like I'm honestly surprised to see how many people are really just trying to stick with their ego gut, like. But I don't even know what to tell them at this point. Like I feel like talking to them is like, as much as I hate to say it's useless, but like I really I try to like convince these people. I try to do all this stuff, and like these people are genuinely like they really don't care. Like as much as I bring in facts, as much as I say stuff that actually matters right now, like they actually just don't care. And it's so weird. Like it's actually like dehumanizing to them. Like do they not care? Like I don't know, man. I've just been really really annoyed about that, to be honest.
Yeah, I always rag on them because it's always like 5-on-1, 8-on-1.
Mhm.
Uh, one thing I've noticed about them is when I debate them, they always point to like the fact that they won the election, and it's kind of the thing that people do, like at church, like their echo chamber. They need confirmation bias. They need people to reaffirm their beliefs. So
Mhm.
they're always there, just like hyping, like just
Yeah, as a
reaffirming
group.
the lies that they've learned and the BS that they've learned. But yeah, if you, that's why I do the thing I do where I like show on the screen, like, look,
Mhm.
and I don't know. They
Yeah,
sometimes they still don't.
no.
It's hard.
The way you do it, like it really seems like you get to them. Like I don't know, man. Like your streams, like I got into politics pretty recently because I'm only 20, and like I started watching like Dean and Parker, and like that's when I was like, oh shit, like this is important. Like I should like actually pay attention to this stuff. And then I started watching them a lot, like daily. Like it was bad, man. I was only like consuming political stuff for like a good like couple months. And then I got onto your page, and like I love all your stuff. You bring up people that like know their shit. Like whenever you need help with something, like I don't know who it was. It was this like super smart lady though. I follow her on TikTok. She is like all her videos are literally just her like being an absolute genius, and like talking about like economical things, and just like world change, whatever. You get the point though. And like I don't know, I feel like the people and like your debate style is super like well done, and I definitely want to like, it really inspires me to want to like debate more, because I honestly like last night I got so mad at this live. I was literally like yelling basically, because like it's just like it's actually surreal to me. Like I don't believe these people are real.
Oh yeah, Felice. um,
Yeah, Felice, there
yeah,
we go.
yeah, Felice is the
Of
bomb.
course. Yeah,
Yeah,
Felice the goat.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. There's no like magic silver bullet for it, but yeah,
Yeah.
just I don't know. I prefer one-on-ones. Maybe commit to only doing one-on-ones
Yeah,
if you don't want to.
I might try live streaming soon enough. I think
Yeah. Well, good.
it's gotten to the point. It's gotten to the point, but definitely appreciate all your stuff. Hopefully you get some MAGA to convince today. I'll probably be watching, so.
All right.
But just wanted to rant a little.
Appreciate you, dude. Appreciate you gassing me up.
No problem, bro.
Take it easy. One-on-one so much easier to watch. Yeah, my ADD goes insane. Um, when there's more than one person, even someone on my side, I'm literally white knuckling it whenever I even have someone up here helping me. I always want to be one-on-one. It's not that I'm better than anybody. It's just that my brain can't sort it out. Is that my cat? She's under the covers. It's Pickles. It's my dog. Hello. Good morning. Okay. She's doing her thing. She's doing her scratchy thing. uh, how we doing, y'all? How we doing? Happy Saturday. Pam Body had me screaming at my screen. Let me see her again. Pickles, what are you doing? All right. Yeah, it's Saturday. My girlfriend said she was at my girlfriend's house this morning and she kept crying, so she had to bring her over here. She was missing me. She needed her daddy. She needed her daddy. Here we go. Yellow.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
I'm just going around asking the liberal TikTokers if they would date a transgender. Yeah, would you date a transgender? A lot of the liberal TikTokers surprisingly would.
Yes, probably, possibly.
Like Parker, he said yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Have you seen them?
Shit, even if they had the male member.
Maybe. I think I have a genitalia preference, but you know.
Who? Wow.
Have you seen Hunter Schafer? Have you seen have you seen them?
Yeah, an abomination. Degenerate filth.
What? Why do you say, dude, that's horrible. Why would you say that?
It's a disgusting abomination of humanity. Yeah, it's some of the most degenerate filth to be walking on the planet. I mean,
why do you say that?
Do you see why you're losing young men now? Do you think this is popular issue with young men?
I think that's bigotry.
Well, the left goes, "Oh, I wonder why we're losing young men," and then you're sitting here as like a father. You're sitting here as a father saying, "I would suck a cock," and then it's pretty crazy.
I don't know. I feel like you've fetishized and like you're very simple-minded. I think, and you're just like saying things are icky. And I feel like people who have a more wider understanding of this and a deeper understanding or more
so it's like it's a lack of knowledge type thing. Okay, so if I get smarter, learn, visit higher education, I'll like penis.
You wouldn't call somebody
you guys are cooked, bud.
You wouldn't call somebody who has gender dysphoria an abomination, right? Like, would you call somebody who's struggling, who's in distress with a mental condition, an abomination. Would you
I didn't
stomp
say
down on
that.
them? You did call them an abomination. You called them filth.
You reference specific individuals who already went because they went through the surgery. Yeah, that's filth. The surgery is an abomination to humanity.
The surgery wasn't even part
It's
of the
a
question,
disgrace.
was it?
I stand by that. Anyone.
Why do you say that? You just don't like the thought
It's
of
part
it?
of the person. It's part of
You
her
just think it's
identity.
icky?
It's part of her identity.
My grandpa.
It's filthy. Yeah.
My grandpa, he said the same thing about women who got their ears pierced.
Okay.
That's you.
So since your grandpa didn't like women getting their ears pierced, so now getting your ears pierced is now comparable to get like having a cock,
I think
like
it's
as being attracted to a fucking guy who was born man.
Yeah, I think it's the same line of
That's
thought.
like
of you
crazy.
Just having like a knee-jerk reaction to things you don't understand.
And then on the same foot you go, no, fill in the gaps. Like, how is a cock like attractive to you? Like, would it like flop in your face?
Why do you have to be so like inappropriate about it? Like you see how you're bringing immaturity to like
it is graphic. It is vulgar. It is vulgar. No, it is part of the conversation. That is what we're talking about.
It's a very
though.
immature way to go about
like
this
topic.
conversation, right? You're like, ooh, yucky, wieners, cocks. You see how like, yeah, I guess it is appealing to young men.
Kind of.
I guess it is appealing to young men too.
I don't.
Like,
I don't think someone like you should be taken seriously, right? Someone like you should be. Yeah, you should be mocked, right? I think this should be mocked. Like,
okay. Well, I mean, that just shows you. Like, I talk to y'all all day, and y'all have some insane beliefs too. And I try to be as graceful as I can be to have a productive.
What insane belief do I have?
Are you Christian?
Name one belief that's anywhere close.
Are you Christian?
You think being a Christian is comparable to being attracted to transgenders?
Did you answer my question?
So there you go. That's another reason. Like,
are you Christian?
I'm coming to the faith. I believe Christ is king. Yeah.
Nice. So you believe that people were made of dust or clay, the earth is 6,000 years old, possibly even flat, that donkeys can talk, snakes can talk, and that Jesus sent down a human version, or God sent down a human version of himself to die for himself, to save us from himself, and took a weekend off for 2 days, and you owe him your
that
whole
did
life?
happen.
Nice. Yeah, keep running
obviously.
with that, bro. Do you know how popular Christianity is compared to like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30? Keep running with that. Keep running with that.
It's actually the fastest growing religion.
No,
we have more Christians on earth than any other group. More than
it's
atheists.
dwindling down here in the States.
There's more Christians than Muslims. There's more Christians.
There's no hate like Christian love. Yeah.
Oh, now you're just lying. You're misinformed.
It's dwindling
ask
down. No, I'm
ChatGPT. Anyone in here, go ask ChatGPT. In the West, is Christian growing? It's growing. No, it's growing.
Okay.
More people returning to the church than ever. You're wrong. Ask ChatGPT. Christianity is growing in the West, especially among young men. And it's a beautiful thing. More people are joining the church than ever. Well, yeah, the Muslims are very good at
Christianity in the United
invading
States
the
has experienced a notable decline in the past few decades, but recent data suggests this trend may be stabilizing. In 2007, 78% of the U.S.
Let's go.
It's 78% of the U.S. is adults identified as Christian, but now it's 62. Damn.
When was that? Yeah, 78% was like 50 years ago, 60 years ago.
No,
it's making a comeback now. The comeback is now. Your timetable
turn on your ears. Turn on your ears.
I'm not 60 years old.
That's 2007. That's fucking 15 years ago. And then today, this year, it's 62. 15 years ago, y'all lost 15%. That's 1% per year.
That's a pew poll. Pew polls are fake, dude.
How do you know what poll I'm looking
at? No one
at?
asked me.
Dang, that's a cope. Open a book, Bobby.
Because if it's not a pew poll, it's just a joke.
That's a big cope right there.
What book? Yeah, open the Bible.
Open the internet. Find out the science that makes that shows proof that.
Bro, there's no bigger cope than sucking.
Listen, there was no worldwide flood. Keep telling your friends that, bro. What kind of pseudoscience are you guys using to justify a worldwide flood?
What do you mean? We find there's literally seashells on top of a fucking mountain.
That doesn't mean there's a worldwide flood. That just means that tectonic plates did this and brought a shell up with them.
You can find a fucking conch shell on top of a mountain.
Yeah, and tectonic plates did this and brought a shell up with it. It's called science.
Bro, why would I even discuss theology with a guy who sucks cock and claims to be straight? Are you a homosexual?
No. What's wrong with that? Are you saying that homosexuals are less than?
No, not a homosexual.
Are you saying that homosexuals are less than? Are you saying they're less than?
I mean, if you're trying to attract young men, you're in a game of politics. You want to win elections, or you want to just like be a homosexual? Like, what's your goal here?
Do you want to answer my question? Are you?
You're
like all over the place. You're just kind of dodging questions here.
Never heard that term, less than. Like, no, complete your sentence. Like, that's like not. It's like a fragment.
Do you think that they're do you think they're less than?
Like you have a question for me?
Do you think there's something wrong with gay people?
Is there something wrong with them? Well, yeah. I mean, if you do it more than once a week, you have to wear a diaper. At least one of them, anyway.
Dude,
not the guy who's like penetrating, but like,
how old are you?
You get like, if you're taking it in the. I don't discuss like personal information on here.
Yeah, is that even your face? It's not your face.
I'm Gen Z though. I'm Gen Z.
Okay, well, it's very telling.
No, yeah, fucking Gen.
Christianity is dying. I'm sorry.
I'm the future. Like you're like, what are you talking about? Some gay guy, yeah. Of course, the gay guy who's like loves transgenderism hates like Christianity. That like makes me love it more.
I have a girlfriend.
It only makes me like when the demons spit out.
It's not an insult. Why do you think like this is very off-putting to people who don't believe?
No, it's just true. It's a fact. It's literally just true.
That I'm gay?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you suck cock, yeah. You can't like unsuck a cock.
Okay. Dude, you're acting so immature,
bro.
About? This is my channel is
usually.
Dude,
do you realize people like you're like a midwit, 105 IQ Mars. Dude, you're like a midwit, and you're like trying to be like, you believe in fairy tales. You guys aren't smart. Like people with exponentially higher IQ than you could even fathom believe in Christianity. Like and so much smarter than you.
And like 90-something.
When you're like a 95 IQ, it's like, do you even know anything? What, do you know anything? What like do I know anything? That's literally not true. Do you know anything? Like, what's the capital of Germany? Like, do you know anything?
Sue.
Yeah, what's the capital of Germany?
Sue,
He's looking around. He's got to Google it.
Thank you so much for the $40 donation for the kick. Thank you so much, Sue. Bro was flailing. Yellow.
What's going on, buddy?
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah.
What do you like about Trump?
The rhetoric.
The rhetoric?
The conservative rhetoric, yeah. I believe in family.
Even
and the other side doesn't.
Cheating all of your wives?
No. Like the rhetoric about how you should have a family, how the nuclear family is a good thing. That's what I like.
Does the left not believe in nuclear families?
No, not at all.
Where do we say that?
All over the place. Everybody does.
Can you tell me where we're campaigning
and they
on
say it. They
families?
say it out loud. They not only say it out loud, but all their policies for like all this. I mean, feminism right there. The whole goal of feminism, which is a lefty hierarchy, right? You got to smash the patriarchy, man. Without doing that, we cannot have equality.
Nuclear families can't coexist?
No, not at all.
Why do you say that?
Because that would be patriarchy. Because that's patriarchy, and you cannot have that in feminism. So that's the like number one noted goal of Simone de Beauvoir. She's like, got to get rid of it, or else you can't have equality, right?
I don't know about that. Like, I have a girlfriend, and
dude, what?
she has a close family too. Yeah, I have a girlfriend.
Okay, I have a wife.
Right. So, what's the importance of a nuclear family? What does that do for everybody? How do you think you're going to legislate nuclear families into existence?
Look, just take a look at the most successful demographics of people, and there just happens to be this one little factor that kind of decides if they're successful or not. And then there's on the flip side,
Dual income, no kids. Checkmate.
No, it's not. Because
Yeah, it is.
none of those are Asian, and those are the ones doing the best, my friend. There's no dinks in the Asian community, you fucking retard. Oh,
Dude, you
sorry,
can't.
R word.
Dude, these people are so mad. The hill you're dying on is family values and traditional like nuclear family values. Trump's cheated on all of his wives. He's a sexual abuser. He's extremely misogynist. I guess if you just really enjoy the paradigm of being in control and having a subservient wife, go for it. My girlfriend's the breadwinner. She out earns the absolute fuck out of me. And probably most people. Yeah, 3 baby mamas, 5 kids. If anybody thinks that Trump is instilling more of that in the United States, you're stupid. The host hates Trump more than he loves this country. Guys, the liberals are the only ones who are for the Constitution right now. If you think you're a patriot but you're not for the Constitution, you're just a hypocrite. And Trump is not for the Constitution. Imagine if the president, imagine if Joe Biden wrote an executive order to change a whole constitutional amendment. Imagine if he did that and we were like, yeah, he can do that. Yeah, Trump's not a family man at all. I don't see how they're instilling family value. And you can't legislate family values into existence. For you, basically what they're saying when they say that is they just hate gay people. I don't know. They hate women, they hate gay people. You could tell, I mean, both of them said homophobic stuff to me. And I'm not gay. I get it a lot though. I don't care. I'm gay and they don't hate us. Stop believing everything. My last 2 guests both called me gay as if it made me less than them. We're 3-4 tweets away from national secrets. Yeah, Trump is such an alpha male that he's fighting on the internet like a teenage girl and her ex best friend. He's fighting on the internet out loud in front of everybody with tweets like a child, like a girl, imagine, I heard Destiny say this earlier. Imagine if this was women doing this. They'd be like, oh, women are so emotional. They can't handle their feelings. Imagine if Kamala Harris was tweeting, let's take away Elon's subsidiaries. Yeah, they can't handle it. Men are too emotional. They're too emotional. Those last 2 men that we just spoke to, too emotional. Putin offered Musk asylum. Dude, Trump is playing his cards so poorly. Every country is receiving all of our college rejects. We're having a brain drain moment. We're having an industrial drain moment. Nobody wants to sit here and invest in the United States while there's so much uncertainty. I was not kidding about Putin. Liberals. Trump is canceling education, making abortions illegal. Trump literally cut the Department of Education. We now have 280,000 or 260 billion less dollars going to public schools because of Trump, so that he can put that in his tax bill. And he's attacking Harvard and trying to do everything he can to fuck with them and change their IRS status, defund them, stop students from going there, stopping international students from going there, fucking up their endowment. Yeah. Yuck, dude. Attacking Columbia and Harvard, yeah. You rescinded emergency care requirements for AB. Wasn't that, yeah, that wasn't it like this week? Vladimir Putin has offered to negotiate a peace deal. Is that true? I can almost believe it. Is that true, dude? State and local government fund schools. Well, now they do. But I'm in Texas, where 20% of our school systems were funded by the federal government, and Trump just took that away. Same thing with Louisiana. Same thing with many, many other states. He fucked up our education real good. He fucked it up. Where are the glasses? You're right. You're right, guys. I need to fix my teeth. Okay. RJ, what's up, dude? Yeah, we got green today. We got green. 160 companies have notified their employees that layoffs will be coming in the next 30 days. Wow, what kind of mug is that? Guys, one of my supporters bought me this. This is a pinch hold, because I do rock climbing. This is a pinch hold mug, and this is my favorite mug. I love this whole thing. Y'all, we're still looking for debates. If you're a Trump supporter, you want to debate, hop in the box. Otherwise, I'm going to turn the phone line on. We're going to get some weird YouTubers. There is no request button. Let me fix it. How's that? Do we have a button now? Oh shit, I got turned down. Did I get my sign? I still haven't seen my mom, Jody. I still haven't seen her. I'll text her today. Hello, y'all. Hello, hello. I know, Jody. I'm sorry. I'm a horrible son. Dolphin, thank you for the meteor shower. Holy shit. I'm so excited for your reaction. Do I only read chats with badges? I'm more likely to, I guess. What's up, Safer? Love you back, Dolphin. I love how the left is essentially defeated. You guys, you know that you won by 1.7%, and now that Elon Musk doesn't like Trump, how many, isn't the MAGA party going to be fractured? Aren't you guys going to have to decide who's lying? Is it going to be Trump or Musk? The cope has been seriously difficult for y'all. I had one guy tell me that this is all a psyop. That's how broken your brains are right now, right? Lost the tech bros. Well, we'll see. He's calling for a new party. I like how the right keeps losing court. The right keeps losing special elections too. And it's like special elections they shouldn't be winning. I mean, shouldn't be losing. It's kind of indicative of good midterms. This administration is a joke. It is true. Elon removed the Epstein post? No way. What? Are they making up? No way. He removed several? Are they making up? He deleted everything? Guys. Wow. Wow. Dan's paid me $12 so far to make sure I read his messages.
Hello.
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
No, not at all. He does suck. Tariffs on, tariffs off.
All right, guys, I love you. If you're friendly, my mods will kick you. We really need a debate. Trumpers too scared to debate today. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to say. They don't know how to explain this away. He'll get immediately and spill the beans. Love to see it. What's my grape apology about Biden? Tara Reid. Tara Reid lied. She perjured herself, and now she is in Russia. Biden said, "Let's hear her case," and then she's in Russia. Where is she at? Let's give Biden due process. Anyone else following the LA protests? No, I haven't. I'm rich. I love taking over stream with money. Hey, you're not going anywhere. Perjure yourself about the details of what was inappropriate about what like her encounter with Biden. Yeah, now she's working for Russian state media. That's weird. That's weird. She never testified about Biden? Then what are you guys accusing him of? Yellow.
Yes, hello. How are you?
Doing good. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, just for sake of debate.
I don't play devil's advocate. I appreciate you though.
No, I'm not doing devil's advocate. I was going to tell you what.
Oh. Ice vehicles were leaving parking lot being pelted by water bottles. Oof. Dang, coward. Then I don't know what you're talking about. What's up, coward?
Well, I think it's interesting that you would make a claim and you don't even know, you haven't even, it's obvious you haven't done any research into the situation.
Do you want to tell me what the details are on Tara Reid that makes you believe her?
Because I believe women. but that's not the point. The point is you made a claim, you apologized for Biden, and you made false claims when you were doing it. She was accused of perjury for testimony she gave pretending to be an expert in old cases.
Okay.
She was never on a witness stand to testify in court about Joe Biden. And so she couldn't commit perjury about that.
Okay.
So it just shows that you're just up here blathering on and you don't even know what you're talking about.
Tara Reid,
you have no idea about the situation.
She's not on my radar.
But
She's not on
you
anyone's
use
radar.
your platform to spread false information.
I sit here and I fact check myself live all day. I don't think you've watched me before, if that's what you think.
Okay. Have you fact checked yourself on Tara Reid yet?
That's what I'm doing right now. And what do you like? There's not much to read here. Can you tell me what's going on with it, or do you just like want to get me on the fact that I don't know the details of how she perjured herself? Because I don't think that is the most important detail of the fact that she went to Russia. She went to Russia. Why didn't she pursue her claim?
Statute of limitations. Can you prove that? I mean, what does Russia have to do with it? That's just a character assassination.
Well, so she ran why again?
Who knows?
Okay. So we'll never know. We'll never know. If Biden has one allegation and you believe her for sure, you should hear about Trump's 28 allegations. Do you think that?
Well, now you're making it a numbers thing. That one is okay, but 28 is bad. Is one okay in your mind?
No, I think this is a possibility game. So because one person accuses you and then runs to Russia, I think it's less likely that it's true than 28 whole people. I think at least one of those are true, right? By like laws of probability.
Reid was one of 7 who accused him of inappropriate behavior.
Yeah, but
Reid was the only one that specifically said
the inappropriate
behavior, of what that behavior was.
Behavior you're talking about is him like hugging and doing like Catholic side kisses to women. So
you're justifying randomly kissing women who you don't know.
Like a side kiss, yes, that is a cultural thing.
Oh, okay. So you're okay with violating women's bodies.
Violating women's bodies. That's you. Your guy was actually adjudicated of this.
And the jury said he didn't commit the R word.
No, they said that he definitely was guilty of sexual assault.
Okay. And so why did you just say no to my statement that was the very first question the jury was asked to answer?
I'm sorry?
I said the jury said he did not commit the R word.
Yeah, because in the state of New York, the R word required penetration with your member, and not including digital penetration, and that's what they were unsure of. They weren't sure if it was digital or if it was his member.
Yeah, no, let's say EJC wasn't sure.
Right. So neither was the jury?
Yeah.
Okay.
So why did you say no? When I made a truthful statement, you said no.
Your truthful statement
But
about what?
nonetheless, it just the point is you don't know anything about the Tara Reade situation,
There is
and you're
nothing
just
to know.
repeating
There's
talking
nothing to know.
points.
She
You're
didn't
just
bring him to
repeating
court.
talking points.
There's nothing to know.
What do you mean? There's nothing to know?
There's nothing to know. There's nothing to know. Did she bring
Wait,
it to court?
wait. So why does that matter? How many? What is the percentage of victims who don't report?
Quite a bit. But she,
Yeah, about 70%.
she
About
withdrew it,
70%.
and then now she's in Russia, a common adversary of the United States, and people who are known to fuck with our politics. People who maybe, I don't know, would have convinced somebody to make a false allegation of sexual abuse by one of our political figures to fuck with our politics.
I mean, that's a nice conspiracy theory. It still doesn't explain why you were speaking on something you had no damn clue about.
Just because I don't know what she perjured herself about doesn't mean I don't know anything, right?
Well, no, yes, because you asserted she perjured herself about Joe Biden.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, so that just shows you're just running your mouth off on something you don't know about.
Dang, you're right. I just don't know anything now because I didn't know the perjuring details.
And that you're just repeating talking points.
Oh, you got me.
But a good article is one from May 22nd, 2020 from AP News, where her attorney, even though he was dropping her as a client, says that he and his firm still believed her allegations against Joe Biden.
Okay. Why did he drop her?
I don't know. He didn't say.
So I'm the one who doesn't know anything about the situation. You're the one who's going to come up here and school me about this?
Wait. No. What was my full statement? I don't know. He did not say. So in that sentence, me, Coward's Mute, is the I. He is the attorney. So if I say he did not say, what are you trying to prove?
I don't know.
You're trying to turn it around.
I think that I'm just
that
using
you
your
made
petty,
a comment about something you absolutely knew nothing about.
You're trying to
And
discredit
you just
me.
proved yourself to be a talking head. That all you want to do is just run your mouth on stuff you don't know anything about.
That's you.
Thanks for proving yourself to be a talking head that doesn't know what you're talking about.
Thank you, cowards. Thank you. Are you running now? Okay. So I had one detail off. I apologize. But I still think this is
don't say it was just one detail.
I gave you a chance to finish. You're going to let me finish, right?
You're trying to excuse yourself. A false claim. You based your entire on the false claim.
I want to read about this now. Yellow. Yellow. Bro would, like, no matter what, that small detail was all he was going to have. He's going to harp on it for fucking 20 minutes. So she just, okay. So Tara Reade, a former staff assistant of Joe Biden's Senate office, was investigated for perjury in Monterey County, California, after questions arose about her testimony as an expert witness in domestic violence cases. Prosecutors found that Reade had made false statements under oath, including claiming she held a bachelor's degree from Antioch University, which the university confirmed she did not. So she's She's literally just a big liar. And stating she had never taken the California bar exam, despite records indicating that she had taken and failed it twice. So she's a liar. She also exaggerated her role in Biden's office, describing herself as a legislative assistant when she was officially a staff assistant. So she's a liar. Despite these findings, Monterey County District Attorney's Office declined to file perjury charges. They cited difficulty of proving that her false statements were materially significant to the outcomes of the cases in which she testified. However, the office provided that the investigation findings to the defense attorneys in those cases, allowing for potential challenges for the convictions based on her credibility as a witness. So that's why he dropped her. And so Coward's Mute lied, and he said that the attorneys didn't say why they dropped her, and in fact, the attorneys dropped her because she's a prolific liar. That's why. In summary, while Reed did not provide false testimony under oath, or did provide false testimony, or she was not prosecuted for perjury due to challenges in establishing material impact of her statements in the legal proceedings. She's a liar. You based your entire argument on perjury about Biden. No, my entire argument was about her retracting it and running to Russia. Dude, W's in the chat for the guy on YouTube who's sending me cash apps. Anything that's happening in the country right now is the result of Biden policy signed by AutoPen. Please come up and tell me how that's the case. Tell me what policies Biden signed by AutoPen that are affecting us negatively. You just lied about her attorney. This is from Politico. Reed, the former Joe Biden staffer who recently accused him of essay in 1993, stated she had an undergraduate degree that her college says she never earned and appears to have exaggerated her role in the Delaware Senate Biden's office. According to the trial transcripts in 2 court cases reviewed by Politico, she literally lied about her proximity to Biden, saying that she was a legislative staffer. That's real bad. 2560 auto-signed documents one day. I'm going to guess that, like, those documents were 100 pages each. Have you seen Trump signing executive orders, by the way, guys? Someone hands him an executive order that's multiple pages long. They give him 2 sentences of what's about, and he signs it. He has no idea what's going on. He doesn't fucking know. That's not a problem for y'all? Yeah, she lied a lot, and that's why she ran. He's a puppet. Trump's a puppet for the Heritage Foundation. Dude, Coward's Mute is insane. He's gonna come up here and talk nothing but perjury if I let him back up. Are you gonna continue talking about perjury when we come up here, Coward's Mute, and say that everything I say is a lie? Or do you want to have an actual conversation? You do know pardons do not have to be signed. Oops. Republicans already admitted to not reading bills.
Ava super chatted $5. Republicans already admitted to not reading bills.
Love that. Thank you, Ava. Guys, if you do a super chat, that's $5. The text to speech happens. Okay, so the attorney did not specify that was why they dropped her, but the announcement came shortly after the the announcement came that reports surfaced questioning Reed's credibility, particularly regarding her educational background, qualifications as an expert witness in court cases. And he said that it was just so he lied to me, saying that she perjured herself in regards to just her credibility in expert as an expert witness. And now we find out that Coward's Mute is lying. So what credibility do you have, Coward's Mute? Whoops. Not $4.99, it's $5. CLR77 says, "Oh, it's text at $5. Half you got dog walked. Are your debates you getting destroyed by Republicans? This is amazing. The left is down bad." Stick around, Bob. You're still saying you're lying. I know. I love it. That was certainly words.
What's up?
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes.
What do you like about Trump?
Well, I think he's better on foreign policy in the long run for the US.
Ooh. All right.
Yeah. You don't think so?
No.
Why not?
So, first of all, Trump with his tariffs has basically ruined our relationship with just about all of our allies, especially in the West and in Europe, and especially the way he's treated Ukraine and stopped sending any sort of funding to Ukraine. Our allies or our former allies have picked up the slack, and they've also dedicated the next 5 or 10 years of budgeting for NATO expenses. They've dedicated it to not buying defensive weapons from the United States. So much so that J.D. Vance had to come out and say, "Hey, this is inappropriate. You guys should buy our stuff." In fact, we are weaker on the world stage. He's also pulled us out of a bunch of treaties, and he's also struck down a bunch of our soft power. So USAID, which was a form of soft power, was a way for us to influence and tell developing nations or war-torn nations that you should look to the United States as the good guys. We're the good guys. Here's some food. Here's some shelter. Here's some humanitarian aid. And for Trump to take that away, China is now swooping in. They're doing all sorts of stuff saying, "Hey, look to China. We're the good guys." So we have fewer allies, we have fewer developing allies, and we're probably going to have in the future more adversaries to spend dropping bombs on or sending our children to war.
Well, I'd probably disagree with like a few of the things you said. Let's start with the ally and tariff thing, right? You said that with the tariffs, Trump is destroying relationships with U.S. allies. Like, I kind of disagree with that, just on the basis of like I don't really see the thing like as relationship in politics. I think tariffs are a purely economical thing, and I think the second they get removed, just like sanctions or anything else, everything recovers quickly. I don't think there's such thing as this like politics and relationships. It's not like 12-year-old girls where you offend somebody and that's it and the relationship's gone. I think it'll be restored the second the tariffs are gone. I think the bigger
tariffs
issue
are not
here.
going to go away. The 10% tariffs are not going to go away.
They will. They will.
No,
they will.
Trump has said. Trump has said himself.
Trump says something every 2 seconds, and it changes every 3 seconds. So it doesn't matter. Like, we both know it's going to go away.
So you're proving that Trump
I think
is somebody you
issues.
can't. So Trump is also someone you can't trust. That's what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that he says a lot of things, and you should watch his actions more than his words.
So you can't trust him. I got it.
No, you should trust his actions. You should look at his actions and see what it leads to.
Yes,
but you shouldn't
look at
read
what
his
he says and what he does, and they don't line up.
No, you look.
And he's a liar.
No, you look at what he does. You look at what he does. You shouldn't think about what he says. He's a media star. He says a lot of things for his like Twitter feed or whatever. All this like tariff stuff, whatever. We've seen this in the markets. Come on, like he said this thing, like he raised the tariffs, then he dropped the tariffs 2 days later. it's all like for him. I think like it's kind of a big game. But the bigger issue when you said it like it's getting weaker, the U.S. on the world stage. The bigger problem, China's been doing this for decades now, and I think that the temporary thing of Trump tariffs and whatever, this like tiny feud with Europe that's only lasted a few months, and now you're blowing this out into like this massive fall in the U.S. dominance in the world. It's not like that. I think the bigger
It's
issue
more than
is
that.
Russia joining China. I think that's a much bigger issue because China, a country with like what 1.5 billion people, and yet a severe lack of natural resources, joining with Russia, which has the exact opposite situation, with not enough people and plenty of natural resources, that's going to be more difficult to deal with. And I think that Trump, perhaps maybe through his efforts to end the Ukraine war, if he has a shot at it, if he can actually pull Russia back to where it was maybe in the early 2000s, closer to the West, trading with the West, perhaps that could be a much bigger deal than when you say, like, I don't know, 1 month, like, whatever, you raise some tariffs, some fucking tax. It doesn't matter, man.
No, so it does matter. So when we talk about having a relationship with our allies and we say, hey, you should trust us, let's sign a peace treaty, or let's sign a trade deal. And Trump has signed trade deals with, say, Mexico and Canada, and we weren't due to renegotiate those for 16 years. These trade deals that he's setting up right now, why would anyone fucking make or believe anything that he does when he broke those trade deals with Canada and Mexico? Why would they do
You
that?
don't need to.
So you're
it's a
saying watch
temporary
his actions.
trade relationship on tariffs. You shouldn't care about this in the context of U.S. dominance in the world. This is such a minor thing. You're blowing out these like trade deals to be this huge, like
They are
with long-term
huge.
implications.
I think you
When
don't
has
know
a
your
trade deal ever been important on like a few decade-long perspective? Never. These deals come and go. It's man, come on, like you're blowing this out into a much bigger thing than
can't
it
be
is.
trusted. The U.S. cannot be trusted right now. The Canada has come out and said it.
What do you mean by trusted? Nobody trusts anybody in politics. What do you mean trusted? Like blind trust?
Yeah,
It's
so
politics, man.
we used to be
It's
able
not
to rely
supposed
on
to
our
trust.
allies.
You're supposed to do what's for your own benefit.
Yeah, that's not a relationship we want to have. No one wants to have a relationship with somebody who's only looking out for themselves.
Oh, really? Well, how do you think countries work? They all look out for themselves, and if it's mutually beneficial, then they cooperate, and if it's not, they don't. They don't just think, this guy is not for our benefit, but this guy's such a nice guy. This Biden guy has such a good smile. He's so trustworthy. Let's deal with him, even though it's not to our benefit. It doesn't matter.
It was
That's not how it works, man.
This is how it works. When Russia invaded Ukraine, Biden, being on foreign affair committees, geopolitical committees for decades, he went and he rallied 50 countries behind.
You think that was a good decision?
Yes.
You think that was a good decision?
Yes.
Why?
Because
Russia's
an aggressor.
A war they can't win.
Russia's an aggressor.
Yes, Russia's an aggressor. Fine. You have to be pragmatic. Sure, Russia's an aggressor. Okay, well, you call them the aggressor. Then what? It's a war that Ukraine can never win.
Who says who?
Never.
Says who?
Look at the map.
Dog,
look at the size of the forces.
I've read war analysts.
Look where things are going.
If you're just looking at a map and that's how you're making your decision, I've got news for you. We have whole analysts. We have analysts that make huge, comprehensive analysis of this.
Oh, okay. And so he wrote a lot of words. That doesn't mean it's true.
And I'm supposed to take
it's a prediction, just like your prediction. Well, it's a prediction. Everyone has their own opinion.
Okay, I'm taking your word for it.
You think analysts are right all the time?
I think
you don't have to take anyone's word. Look at what's going on there.
I trust an analyst more than I trust somebody who trusts Trump.
Look, I don't trust Trump. Look at where things are going in Ukraine.
Why don't you trust Trump?
Why would I trust a politician?
Okay, that's what I thought. You just told me that you can't trust Trump, and you said that's not it. Now you're saying you don't trust Trump.
I don't trust Trump, just like I don't trust any other politician. What do you mean?
I trust Biden.
Man, come on, like, how can you trust a guy who's been like, how many scandals has Biden been through? All the Hunter Biden stuff.
How many indictments happened?
I don't know how many indictments happened. I don't follow those stories.
It's 0.
Amazing. He got off.
Damn.
Well, whatever, man. That's all. We're drifting away. Well, what I'm saying is, like, on the Ukraine thing, look where things have been in the past year.
Yeah, I know. If you guys were dumb enough to believe the Ukraine thing, and if you looked into it, you'd be like, oh, that's nothing.
What? What do you mean?
Ukraine thing? You're talking about, like, Burisma and stuff?
I'm not talking about Hunter Biden. Man, I said we drifted away. I was talking about the Ukraine war.
Okay, yeah, so the Ukraine war is very important. Do you know what the Budapest Memorandum is?
No, tell me.
Oh my God.
What is it?
In 1994, we said, hey, Ukraine, we
Yeah.
don't like the fact that you have all of these nuclear arms. You're not supposed to have those. You're just a brand
Okay.
new country.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
we signed this agreement called the Budapest Memorandum.
Okay, yeah,
and
so withdrawal of nuclear weapons
Stop.
destruction. Okay.
Belarus, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Russia, and
Yeah.
us all signed this. And the first tenet of this agreement was that we were going to respect the sovereignty of these nations and their borders moving forward. The second was that if they were ever invaded or threatened with nuclear capabilities, that we would come to their aid. And guess what? Now it's our turn to come to their aid because that is because we signed the agreement to take away their nuclear arms.
For what? Why are you
What do
coming
you
to
mean,
their
or
aid?
what?
Why are you coming to their aid in a war that you can't win?
Dude,
which you know you can't win unless there are NATO soldiers there.
Nobody says they can't win the war besides people with
You
Russian accents.
you think they have a shot? You think they have a shot?
Yes.
Of taking back that territory?
Yes. Tell me.
You serious?
Tell me everything.
They're outnumbered 2-1 there.
Tell me everything you know about
They're outnumbered 2-1 right now.
Tell me everything you know about the dynamic of that war. Tell me. I want to know how qualified your opinion is.
What do you mean? Tell me everything you know,
how
bro.
qualified is your opinion? What's the death count on each side?
Everything you know about the world.
No,
what do you mean?
War in Ukraine.
Hundreds of thousands. I mean, depending on estimates, I think the Russian one is like 30% higher than the Ukrainian one.
False. No. No.
Well, what is it? What's your take on it?
It's 10 to 1. 700,000 dead Russians and like 80,000 dead Ukrainians.
10 to 1?
Yes. Yes. It's not.
Are you
even
serious?
Yeah. Yes.
10 to 1.
Dude,
you think one Ukrainian soldier should have got 10 Russians?
You don't know anything about this war, and you're telling me who's
going
to win?
Man, where do you take this data from? Where did you take the 10 to 1 number from?
Oh my God. I'll pull it up for you.
Okay, fine. Let's actually, it's interesting. Let's search up some estimates of non-Ukrainian organizations. Maybe some independent one.
No, I know. This is so everybody besides Russia. There's multiple organizations. This is Wikipedia.
Okay, let's take some international, like some UN or whatever.
I got you.
As long as it's not Russian or Ukrainian.
Okay. Casualties in Russia-Ukraine war.
Okay.
And this
Let's
also
see what Wikipedia has to say.
Also, the Wikipedia
United
cites,
Nations.
The Wikipedia cites the sources. Okay, here you go. So, civilians in Ukraine. This is from the United Nations. We have civilians, 13,000 killed, 31,000 wounded. Ukraine says just about the same, and we have a lot of captives. Russian civilians, Ukrainian forces, 80,000 killed. Oops. 80,000 killed. Wall Street Journal says it. The Economy says 62. Or the Economist says 60 to 100,000. Russian Ministry says 1 million. That's fuck. We all know that's dumb. UAL
it's less than 1 million. Russian
70,000 from the UAL. So the consensus is 70 to 80,000 killed. Okay, and then we have Russian forces. PMC Wagner, 20,000 killed. Russian forces, 20,000. 170, 165.
Well, by your logic, it should have been 10 times more. I don't see
here
it,
you
man.
go. Russian forces, 800,000 killed. Armed forces of Ukraine.
BBC, Armed Forces of Ukraine.
BBC and UK, 950,000.
Who?
950,000 from the UK estimate.
Who says it?
UK.
What do you mean UK? Oh, the official UK government.
Yes.
Man, come on. You can't trust that.
Oh, okay. So you don't like that one?
You can't trust the UK government.
Got it.
They're fighting with Ukraine there. What do you mean?
Got it.
And it's probably different from what they actually know.
Okay, and you
okay,
didn't know.
You can trust them. I wouldn't trust them. I wouldn't trust them.
You had no idea what the numbers were. You have no idea.
If you look at UN or something.
You had no idea what the numbers were before I started showing you this, and you're just going to tell me which ones I should believe?
No, you just told me that they killed 10 times more Russians, which is like, okay. Look,
what is 950,000 divided by 60,000? What's 950,000 divided by 60,000? What's 800,000 divided by 60,000?
You said this is from Armed Forces of Ukraine, man. In that case, we should take Armed Forces of Russia, which is what, 1 million Ukrainians killed? Okay, fine. Let's compare the Russian estimate. That one says it's 1 million or maybe 1 billion. Who knows?
Dude, Ukraine doesn't even have. Dude, they're throwing people into. They're doing this thing called the meat grinder. They are throwing Russian
Ukraine.
forces. They're throwing Russian forces into
Yeah.
Ukraine, and they are
Okay.
just dying and just hoping that one of them make it past the defense.
Yes. Oh, so well, let's take a look at who's fighting. Who do you think is fighting in Russia? What kind of like soldier composition is there?
I don't know.
Who are
Probably
the
in their
people fighting?
40s.
No, I meant how did they get there?
How did they get there?
Yeah. How did they get into the front line? Which of the soldiers? Did they sign the contract? Were they forced there? How does it work?
I'm sure there's a lot of volunteers, and a lot of them are what's it called? Like
Well,
drafted.
what do you think? What do you think the breakdown is? What do you think the breakdown is?
I don't know. What do you think it is?
Well, from what I read, Russia is recruiting around 400,000 per quarter contractors, or something like that. These are people who go there and earn. The money is unbelievable how much they pay them. They're inflating the role. It's horrible, like in the economy for them, I guess. So what's happening is it's all contractors. These people get paid 5 times the average wage in the Russian region where they came from. What do you think the Ukraine is like? How do you think it works in Ukraine?
They're
There's
fighting
a mass
for their
countrywide
country.
mobile.
How much would you be?
Yes.
How
No,
much-
no, I agree. I agree. Look, I'm not disputing that, right? I'm just saying, in Russia, the people fighting are people earning money for it, and
Yeah,
a tiny percentage of the male population. And Russia is not in a position where it requires any mobilization of forces.
The Russians don't even know why they're fighting. They don't even know what the fuck is going on.
They're fighting for money. These people are fighting for money.
So you think people fighting for money
I think-
are going to be more
I think this-
more
this
capable
people
than
are fighting.
people fighting for their passion and of their country?
That's not what I'm talking. No. That's not what I'm referring to. You please just let me like 30 seconds. Okay, I'll get to my thought. So in Russia, right, the majority of soldiers, the overwhelming majority, are fighting for money. These are contractors. The country does not require any type of mobilization. They don't need to force anybody on the battlefield
They
right
are
now.
conscripting people
Whereas
from jail. What?
Yeah, no, exactly. So it's the jail population. That's how it works in war. It's the jail population who spend 1 year there and then they're set free after that. That's how it works. That's how the
You just
conscription
told me they
works
were
in jails.
contractors.
That was the Wagner. Yes, they get paid the money. These people get a choice. They don't get forced there. Jail people don't get forced there. They get a choice. You either sign a contract for a year, then you return back, and your sentence gets like whatever removed, or you stay in jail as you want to. Whereas in Ukraine, what's going on? Have you heard of bussification?
Vossification?
Bussification.
No.
Bus. Basically, take a look at Kiev. A bus pulls up, 6 guys from the military, take one guy, force him into the bus. 2 days later, he's on the front line. There's a national wide-scale mobilization where men of military age are forced to go to war, which means, this is how I'm getting to my thought, Ukraine needs these people desperately. They have a massive shortage of people there, and Ukraine is running out. In the long run, Ukraine will run out of these people. It's already coming, like they're already under severe strain for the last, like I think it's been like 9 months is for how long the Ukraine says we're under strain for soldiers. And it's only going to get worse. Whereas Russia, with a
You're just
superior
talking
population
about-
right
you're
now, they don't
talking
need to
about-
force anybody.
They have
I'm talking about
conscription.
this war.
They have
Yes.
conscription patrols. So you think people are just being thrown in buses? That's not true. What's happening
Yes,
is they're
yes.
going around,
Look at look at
finish.
bussification. Yeah.
they're going around and they're patrolling people and hunting people down who have not registered or are evading service. Is that what you're
Man, this
talking
is what
about?
it sounds like on paper. Look at the videos of what they're doing there.
you wanna
Their relatives are trying to rescue them from the military checkpoint, and 2 days later, the relatives
So
find out
people
that these people
evading
end up
the
on the front
draft
line.
is what you're looking at videos and you're taking them out of context?
What do you mean people evading the draft? People are evading the mass-scale mobilization, not the regular military
The
draft.
draft?
No. There are different types of draft. There's draft for a regular conscription, because in Ukraine you have to go to the army for a year. That's a normal draft. That's not what we're talking about. They're evading the mobilization, where every male over the age of like 25 is forced to go to war right now in Ukraine.
Not every male, no.
Well, no, not everyone, but those who went through the war, like which is the majority of them.
Kristen, thank you for the kick. She just said, "Get fucked, commie." Go read some analysis of the war. Stop sitting here watching Facebook videos and going, "Dang, they're losing." That's probably the fucking dumbest way to do it, right? You'd say, dang, I wonder if they have sea superiority. I wonder if they have air superiority. I wonder if they just absolutely fucked Russia sideways by destroying 30% of their bomb carriers. Dang, I wonder if that's happening. I wonder if they are bombing the bridges. Didn't they just bomb like a very important bridge that was coming from Crimea? Yellow.
Mr. Pickles, I think you're not you're not equipped to do a real analysis of what's going on. These AIA numbers for Russians that you cited, how are they substantiated? Have you looked at the methodology?
No, have you?
Yes, I have. It's hearsay. There is no methodology behind them.
Okay.
It's
Where can I see that?
misinformation.
Where can I hear that it's hearsay? Where can I see that?
Okay, pull up the source and keep digging to see where it's coming from and how the methodology for how they come up with these numbers. The closest estimate that I've seen for Russian KIAs that's somewhat substantiated is in Media Zona BBC, which is it's a study that's been going on from the beginning of the war, where they're actually counting obituaries, social media, and death certificates that have been registered, and they've only registered a little over 100K Russian deaths. So this misinformation is made so that we could continue to support a war that's really unwinnable for Ukraine. And meanwhile, many Ukrainians are losing their lives.
You
In
think
fact,
that
have you read?
you're the only person to look at this, despite that we have multiple countries and their like military intelligence agencies looking at this as well? You think you have a more keen idea of who could win?
No,
You
what
think
I'm
the
saying
media
is
is fooling these countries?
yes, because the media is trusting these
The
intelligence
military intelligence
organizations. Yes,
military intelligence like agencies
yes. So you
are
don't think they
trusting the
do?
media?
You don't think that they do misinformation to try to get a war
Military
going?
agencies, military intelligence, like our military intelligence. Do you think our military looks at the media to see the numbers and see
No,
whether or not we
no.
should fund them?
I transpose what I was trying to say. It's the other way around. The media just doesn't really analyze what the military intelligence is feeding them, because there is no real way to see what the true KIA numbers are.
I'm pointing at the
Mr. Pickles,
actions. I'm pointing at the actions of the countries that are currently funding this war for Ukraine. I'm pointing at them and saying, if
so
it's
they're an
such a lost
uninterested.
hope, why are they
Are
doing
they
that?
an uninterested? Are they an uninterested party or an interested involved party? Let's start there.
They are very interested. They're interested in not letting Ukraine be taken over because Lithuania, Poland, and all of these are next, and also it affects their economy for the foreseeable
So
future. If they take over the Red Sea port
so they're a biased
or the Black
entity.
Sea, they're a biased entity. Yes, they should
Fully
know
biased,
whether or
fully
not this is a
invested.
lost hope,
Not
right?
only are they biased, they are fully invested in it.
Yes,
Why
and
would
they would know whether or
Okay.
not sending $100 billion of their country's funding, which is like a huge percent of their GDP, bigger than us, they would be more calculated with the spending than sending something that has no hope.
Because the purpose is not to win. The purpose is to weaken Russia. That's the purpose. Okay, one more. Allow me another point. Have you read the 2025 national threat estimate put out by the intelligence agencies? It says that no matter what sort of help we give them or our allies, there is not going to be any stop in the erosion or the capacity for them to win.
I'm heating up coffee, Nemo, if you want to take this.
Oh yeah. Okay. So you said the 2025 threat assessment from whom?
Yes, sir.
Who published that?
I believe it's a DNI.
Oh, ours?
Yes.
Who's the current DNI?
Okay, let me read what it says. And
No,
by the way,
I want you to answer that question. Who is the
Nemo,
current
it's
DNI,
Tulsi
please?
Gabbard. Tulsi
Oh,
Gabbard.
okay. And do you not think that perhaps there's a bias there?
Maybe there is, maybe there's
Oh,
not.
okay.
But
Weren't you
last
just
year
trolling
says the
Pickles
same thing.
about biases?
Last year, there is no such thing as totally unbiased.
Right. Tulsi Gabbard
Okay.
is a Russian shill.
Okay, have you read last year's intelligence assessment? It says the same thing.
Does it now?
Yes, it does.
Who published it? From the DNI?
Yes, also Biden. So let me read what this year says.
No.
It says,
I don't want to hear anything that Tulsi Gabbard has to say about Russia or Ukraine. If you can give me the 2024, then we can roll with that.
Okay,
but
so
I'm not
read
about to
one.
listen
Okay,
to
so
Tulsi
how about we
Gabbard's
read both?
assessment of the
How about
Ukraine-Russia
we
war.
read both? How about we
How
read
about
both?
you read the 2024 before we proceed? You said it says the
Okay.
same thing.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So then you shouldn't have a problem reading the 2024 instead of the 2025.
Yeah, I don't have it here at hand, and
Okay,
you're
cool.
cherry
Well,
picking.
if
Let's
you can
read
get
both.
that. No,
Okay.
let's not read
It,
both. Let's read the 2024.
it says
Since you said
Russia.
that it says the same
Russia
thing. If you start
retains. Let
reading
me tell you the page.
dude, do not read the
Page
2025.
19. Page 19 of the
Are you? Is
2025.
this page 19
Russia
of which
retains
one?
momentum as
Which
a
one?
grinding
Which one?
war.
I'm going to continue to talk over you until you stop
2025.
talking and tell me which one it is.
He's reading
2025.
2025.
I asked you not to read 2025 because it was produced by the Director of National Intelligence, who is Tulsi Gabbard, who is a
Okay,
known
so I can't make it
Russian
up.
sympathizer. I do not want to hear Tulsi Gabbard's assessment of that situation.
Okay, so in that case, let's not use no data. If anyone made it.
All right. If we can't use the most biased person we can think of, we can't use anybody.
Okay, how about we use the most recent?
That's
Let's
2025.
compromise.
That's Tulsi Gabbard.
Okay, can I read one sentence from it? One sentence.
Let's hear
I'm
what
sure it
she
won't hurt
has
you.
to say. Let's hear. Let's hear.
Okay.
Let's hear.
Yes. It says Russia retains momentum as a grinding war of attrition plays to Russia's military advantages. This grinding war of attrition will lead to a gradual but steady erosion of Kyiv's position on the battlefield, regardless of any U.S. or allied attempts to impose new and greater cost to Moscow.
Okay. And
It
I'm
says
sure
that their
that helps her
military
sleep
now.
at night. I'm sure that helps her sleep at night with defunding Ukraine and fucking them up
So
and pulling all sort of
are you really
military
claiming
intelligence from
that?
them.
Are you really claiming that it's a baseless claim? What they're saying?
Yes.
It's
Bias?
baseless.
Yes.
No, is it baseless?
I'm not saying baseless. I'm saying it's biased. It's skewed. She's
Okay.
obviously
So
she's
let's
she's not
examine the
even
details
she's not even qualified for her position. Not
Do
even the
you know who
closest. Not even the
Christopher
slightest.
Cavoli is?
No, who?
Supreme Commander of the of the European American Forces.
Okay.
He said that not only is Russia's military now bigger and stronger, it's more modern.
That's not true.
And this
Define more modern. When did this guy say this?
Christopher Cavoli did it in testimony, I believe, this year and the year previous.
Their military is
Testimony
not
to
more
him.
modern. In what way? They're using fucking
Okay, he's lying too, I
tanks from
guess.
the 1980s?
He's lying too.
I guess
Pickles
so.
knows more than Christopher Cavoli,
I guess
Supreme
so.
Commander
Yeah,
of the
the people
European
running out of
American
fucking
Forces.
gas trying to they couldn't even figure out the logistics to get their own forces to the fucking border of Ukraine.
Okay,
Yeah,
so let's go
I
back
don't
to the
think they're more modern.
So let's go back to the KIA numbers. The KIA numbers that you cited were about 1 million Russian casualties, correct?
It was casualties and injured.
And deaths, right? Injuries,
Yes.
irreparable. Okay. You have never substantiated those. You just read the headline, read the paper, and believe that they were true. The Media Zona report, at the very least, provides names, birth certificates, where these people were from, and says that there's only a little over 100K in the past 3 year Russian KIA.
Yeah, but there's also people that are being conscripted from Russia that families don't know if they're dead. They have to find them like in newspapers. They don't know if they're dead. They don't know if they're showing up dead. They're
And
so
that's what Media
unorganized. They're so
Zona is doing.
disorganized.
They're
So if you're
scouring the
only looking at the
newspapers.
people
They're
who are
scouring the
confirmed dead,
newspapers, obituaries, and death certificates,
yeah,
Mr.
if you're
Pickles.
only looking at people who
That's
are
some
confirmed dead, you're
substantiation.
gonna spend a long time figuring out how many people are dead.
That's the closest study that I've seen that could substantiate KIAs. What you are citing are invested, interested parties that are trying to make this war continue.
We are trying to hold up our end of the bargain because we made a very
What bargain?
sacred nuclear pact with
What
Ukraine.
bargain?
We signed the Budapest Memorandum.
Okay, where in it does it say we obligate military aid?
We have
It does.
we
Pickles, I'll
assure them
help you.
securities. Yes, it's point 4. Bullet point 4 number
Okay,
4.
and what does it say about it? It says that they will seek aid from the
Securities.
UN Security Council.
Yeah.
Yes, that's not obligating military aid.
So we made them give up their nukes, and we said, listen, you can ask us for help if something goes wrong, and that's it. That's what you think?
We didn't make them. They decided to give them up. And by the way, those nukes did not belong to them. Those nukes were under command and control of Moscow. They were strategically placed in Ukraine. It's like saying we're going to close down the base in U.S. military base in California, and because there was weapons there, now they belong to California. No, they still belong to Washington, D.C.
No, they gave them to Belarus.
Belarus gave up their nuclear weapons also. Look, the point is, I believe that this war should end because both sides are losing plenty of people. Most Americans don't want to fund this war no more. And it's either going to end diplomatically, and if it ends on the battlefield, that is a scary thought because of how they're not going to quit. Both sides are not going to quit.
It seems like Russia's having a hell of a go at it. It's been more than 2 years. Actually, it's been 3, right?
3. Over 3.
And they thought they were going to be done in 2 weeks?
Well, because this is my understanding. And of course, we don't know. I don't have Kremlin contacts, right? So my understanding of it was that they believed that expeditionary force that they sent in was going to cause Kyiv to shake in their boots and just give up, and they didn't. And so they were unprepared, and it took them about a year to, once they finally realized, hey, Ukraine ain't playing around, and they're going to get armed by the West, they reconstituted, mobilized, and ever since then, Ukraine hasn't been able to gain back much, if any, territory.
So you don't think with the help of all of the countries of the West that we could stop Russia, considering that they've only made such little progress so far?
Well, okay, yeah, I grant you that it hasn't been substantial, but at the same time, what has Ukraine got any land back? They haven't.
They don't need to have land back to win. Like this
so
is,
what's their goal?
Russia's military budget is $65 billion a year, and they are a poor country. Their economy is trash. We could easily outlast them.
Okay, well, we're going to find out. I don't think so, because unless we mobilize, and in fact, their industrial base right now is outproducing all of NATO combined, according to Mark Rutte, which is the NATO chief.
Their industrial base is outpacing what?
Their military industrial base is running circles around NATO combined.
Way?
Meaning they're outproducing ammunition and weaponry.
With $65 billion?
Yes.
No, they're not,
okay. Mark Rutte, you can look this up. The CEO of NATO said that.
Mark what?
Rutte.
Uh-huh. Secretary General of NATO?
Yes.
Says Russia is outperforming.
I can teacup and I can give you a citation of an article.
specifically in production of ammunition. Okay. According to Ruta, Russia is currently producing as much core ammunition in 3 months as the entire NATO alliance produces in a year, despite having an economy that's 25 times smaller, combined enemy of NATO. Ruta highlighted its disparity between the press conference in Brussels, emphasizing urgency for NATO allies to increase defense spending and preparedness, as he believes Russia has proposed a significant threat. So I bet we just need to gear up.
That's what I'm saying. So
they're probably just like pumping out bullets when we didn't really have any reason to start mass producing bullets.
Well, we're either helping Ukraine or we're not. As you can see, we haven't made a full effort because we know it would be a lost cause. We're basically giving them a lot of older weapons, but we also have given them newer stuff. In fact, we've given them close to 40 billion of new stuff.
Like what?
If you look at my profile, I have a video from the Congressional Research Service that lays it all out.
So you can't give me like one example? Just like a platform.
Of what new stuff we're giving them?
Yeah, just like a weapons platform. You don't have to be super specific. I just need like...
Yeah, we're giving them javelins that are built new, fresh, among other things. They're not old stock because we had ran out of that, and so they started reproducing them.
Okay, javelins? Like...
Correct. Anti-tank, anti-air weapons.
Yeah, but javelins aren't like bleeding edge tech, right? They've been around for decades.
Yeah, but they're built new. What I was asserting was that we've built new weapons. Everything we're giving them is not old stuff that's sitting in the warehouse. We're actually building them stuff.
Okay.
So they're also NATO's. They're pushing for NATO to increase spending to 5% GDP, especially now that we're out of the picture. And if they do that by the end of June, core message is every ally must commit.
So if we add up what Europe has given in terms of weapons and cash and what we've given, we're looking at about over $300 billion, right? And it's been 3 years. And what has Ukraine gained in terms of territory?
They don't need to gain anything. They just need to deplete Russia's forces.
I understand that, but apparently the forces are bigger and more modern than they were before the start of the war, according to Christopher Cavoli.
So what is more modern? Like
the National Threat Estimate also says the same thing.
What does more modern mean?
Okay, what I take it to mean, because it doesn't specify too much, they have newer tanks. They're building new helicopters. They're building new missiles. And they're, in fact, in this war, both sides are learning about each other's weapons, and they're improving their weapons to become more modern to what's being experienced on the field. For example, just on our side, one of the things that the national estimate says is that our HIMARS, for example, are becoming very, very ineffective because Russia has found ways to use electronic warfare to reduce their accuracy. And the whole point of the HIMARS is that they're extremely accurate. If you take that away from the equation, then that really, and those HIMAR rounds are so expensive, it really diminishes the efficiency of that weapon.
So, Jesus, Russia is using tanks from the 70s and the 60s.
Yes, and I read an article that says that they are very reliable, and that some of the stuff that we got, like the Leopards and the Bradleys, are not doing so well because they're too heavy, and that they've been less reliable. That some of those old Russian tanks are doing the job, and they're easily repairable on the battlefield versus the other ones, which have to be taken out and be taken to Poland and other places to be fixed.
The tanks have to be.
Yes.
Did you just say that Russian tanks are easier to repair on the battlefield? The same Russian tanks that do this little jack-in-a-box thing anytime that they catch on fire?
You're characterizing maybe a few instances, and you're
A
saying that
few
they're always
instances. Do you
that
want me
way.
to show
Yeah.
you a compilation of Russian tanks doing the exact thing that I'm describing?
Do you know how many tanks there are? And you're gonna
Yes,
give me
there are
like
thousands. Yes.
you're gonna give me a couple
No, I'm not going to
anecdotes.
give you just a handful. Like Russian tanks, because of the way that they are built, they use I don't think it's a rotary. I don't know if that's the correct term, but like a rotary style thing to hold their shells. And when they catch on fire, because they're shittily built, those shells heat up and boom, and it causes the turret to shoot up into the air. This is a known thing that Russian tanks do.
Which model? All models or one particular model?
The man, the legend, super chatted $5.
let me
This
see.
caller is spot on. Bravo. You need more men on like this who are more NHMMWV built in 1985 are used today, but all its guts are modern.
What is that?
It's my text-to-speech donations.
Oh, crazy. Yeah, look, my whole thing is we're not getting the complete story. My whole thing is we need to do diplomacy. There was a peace deal on the table 2 months into the conflict or the illegal invasion, let's say it properly. And the Ukrainians walked away from it. Now, I guarantee you Russia will not stop with that minimum, keeping the 4-0 blasts that they've incorporated already into their constitution, even though they don't control most of it.
No.
And so I think that we are being fed a lot of misinformation to keep us thinking that, hey, if we just give this extra weapon, we just give fund it for another year, somehow Russia is going to collapse. Somehow Ukraine is going to regain the 20% territory that they've already lost, even though they haven't regained anything in 3 years.
I don't think they need to regain.
They literally
anything.
have though.
Oh, have they?
Well, the stated
I mean, like if
that I've
he's
heard,
saying in the last 3 years, so in the first 6 months of the war, the Kharkiv counteroffensive caused Ukraine to gain a shitload of territory back because Russia retreated from it. It was a massive amount.
100%. But if we really
Okay, so then
analyze
they did gain
why that
territory in the
happened.
last 3 years.
But let's look at the situation. Russia went in with originally my understanding is anywhere between 120,000 and 180,000 troops. They were stretched super thin. So yes, through intelligence, they found out that the Kharkiv area was not really defended very well, and they routed them there. They retreated. Same thing in Kherson. Same thing. But after those initial pushes, because they overwhelmed with numbers, the Ukrainians did, nothing has happened since then. And it's not a stalemate anymore. It's a slow grind where Ukraine's being eroded.
How is it a slow grind where Ukraine is being eroded?
The national estimate for the past 2 years has said that. So I'm going to take their word for it. Biden said that and Trump said that. So I'm going to take the preponderance of the evidence.
No. So the easiest way to look at this, especially historically, is going to be the exact same situation that occurred in Afghanistan in the 80s. So the Soviet Union.
Are you proposing we spend that many years there? Or close to it?
Well, you say we.
Yeah, like in other words,
I think it would be cheaper. It would be cheaper, honestly. Yes.
Well, yeah. I don't know if the American people have the appetite. Especially, look at this. We can't even pass our budget right now.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about what we've given Ukraine, it's not because we've added to the budget. It's literally just reallocated funds from our military. A lot of it giving them old stuff, and it's not 300 billion.
That's not true.
It
Mr.
is
Pickles.
true. It's 175 billion, by the way, not 300, and 75 of which was humanitarian aid.
How much?
75.
75 billion?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so the rest of the 100 are weapons and direct cash assistance.
Right. Not
Yeah.
300, right?
No, but I specifically said it was for Europe and us combined, the West.
Okay, so 175 billion, by the way, a lot of which is like 80s tanks, right? Like old stuff. How much of that? I'm sorry. How much of our military budget is that?
About maybe 10%, but you're minimizing it.
Nope. Over
Yeah, I
over
mean,
3 years?
well, you didn't say how we were going to add this up, but yeah, over 3 years, 100. And if you count over 3 years, the 175, compare it to
It's like
our
2%.
military budget. Yeah, so
2.
Okay, so 175 ain't nothing. It's
No,
chopped
so
liver.
no, so you're talking about like propaganda and the media, right? You need to be just as aware of Russia sending their propaganda over here. America first. Russia's winning, or stop sending billions to Ukraine. That's why we have inflation. None of that makes sense. It's incoherent, and for you to be upset about that is
I
dumb.
didn't make that argument.
I'm sorry, but Trump is literally still dumping more money into the military. So if you have a problem with that, you would vote for Democrats.
I agree that I don't understand Trump for increasing 100 billion on the military budget when supposedly we care about deficits. Yeah, I totally disagree with him on that.
Okay, so
And I
again,
think
this is nothing. Is a literal nothing burger, and for a country to fight for its sovereignty, and for us to stifle an aggressor on the world stage is well worth 2% of our budget, bro. 2.
okay, is Shaq tall
Yeah.
or is he not? Yeah, but when you compare him to the Empire State Building, he's not that tall, huh?
Okay.
So it depends
non
on
sequitur.
perspective.
No,
It
it does
depends.
depend on perspective, right?
Perspective.
It does
So
depend on
I wouldn't
perspective.
minimize 175 billion. That's not chopped liver.
It is.
175.
It is when it comes to our military.
It's
You've
not.
never cared about what we do
Okay,
with our
yes,
military money
compared to the
before
military.
this. You've never cared
Yes, I
what we've
did.
done.
I've
No,
been following the budget closely since 2020.
it doesn't sound like it.
I'm sorry, since 2000, excuse me.
Okay. How much was our military spending this or last year?
Upwards of close to 900 billion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And how much extra was added to it when we sent money to Ukraine?
Well, it wasn't part of that budget. It was part of the money was
super
five.
chatted $19.99.
It was 5 separate
Caller is
emergency
trying to win a
supplemental bills.
philosophical argument with numbers. I think it's worth the dollars to stop Russia from running roughshod over a sovereign nation.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you so much. And that is enough to kick you, Cortez. Take it easy. Someone already paid $20. Daryl, thank you for the $20. This Russian sympathizer can kick rocks. Chat. Kicks are $40. So Daryl and Annie, thank you for the $40 combined. And I rest my case. This was not increasing our military budget. This was literally just reallocated. Some of it was just sitting there, and we would take a tank that was worth $2 million and give it to them. That's part of the budget that we're talking about. It's nothing. It's literally nothing. And for you to stand by and do nothing is more of an action than doing something. Standing by and doing nothing is literally so negligent and so evil and so dumb that it makes it
the
just
man,
makes
the
no
legend,
sense.
super chatted $5. Pickles, my brother in Christ. Do you have kids? Will you send them to Ukraine? Will you put a yellow ribbon on your door? 2% can be a costly price.
No, the 2% that we're talking about will stop us from having to send our kids to Ukraine. That's why it's important. If you want to send your kids to Ukraine, we can stop now. We can fight Russia in 20 years, and your kids can do it. Chat, if you're friendly, please hop out of the box. Please, 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 please. Only opposition. Only opposition in the box. Plot twist, Pickles is Mr. Snowden in disguise. $175 billion is nothing, Cortez. No, it's not. It's nothing. When we're talking about 350 million Americans paying $4 trillion a year in taxes, you are literally talking about tanks that are sitting there collecting dust that will otherwise do nothing. Why wouldn't we send them to people who could use them to defend their country? That is dumb. That is horrible thinking. Cortez, we paid to kick you. Someone paid to kick you, so you can come back tomorrow. Thank you for keeping it respectful. Yellow.
Oh, never mind.
Hello.
What's up, Redbeard?
Hey, did Putin, did he attack the sovereignty of Ukraine during Obama?
Yes.
Did he do it during Biden?
You're gonna say he didn't do it during Trump.
Hold on, no, it's a yes or no question.
He's doing it right now during Trump.
No, it started during Biden. Obviously, Trump inherited that. Obviously.
And now he's still doing it, right?
Yeah, he is still doing it. But
okay.
My point stands. Did he do it during Trump's first term?
No.
Yes.
Oh, did he?
No, he didn't. No, he
Well,
didn't.
I mean, like, it depends on like the fighting had started in the Donbass, basically from the moment that Russia illegally annexed Crimea. So
right during Obama's term.
Sure, yeah, and then fighting started in the Donbass shortly thereafter, the eastern Ukraine.
Yeah, but it calmed down a whole lot during Trump's first term.
Was there still fighting?
Did it calm down or not? Did it grow to this level, or did it stifle?
No.
Do you think Russia was like, damn, Trump is really golfing, we need to chill?
No, that's not what I said at all. I just asked during which presidencies Russia made big moves versus not. That's all I asked.
It's causation correlation. I don't think there's anything notable to say besides the fact that maybe they're just recouping forces.
Dude, I'm giving you the out of the basement, standing on my own 2 feet, red-blooded American.
I'm the one that gave Ukraine offensive weapons and tank killers. Obama didn't. You know what he sent? He sent pillows and blankets.
Awesome. What was that? I'm not saying we shouldn't send them help. I'm not saying we shouldn't send them help.
Realized it was the right thing to do. And Obama, remember Obama, Biden, they sent blankets. I sent javelins and they sent, well, you know what the javelins are? The anti-tank weapons. They knocked the hell out of those tanks.
That's a
nice
audio.
Ukraine wouldn't be having a
nothing to do with my
chance
point.
without them. That was all sent by me, all of it. We sent other military equipment too. We didn't send our soldiers, but we sent them a lot of equipment.
So if
how's that
if
relevant
Russia
to
wasn't violating the sovereignty of Ukraine, why the hell did Donald Trump send a bunch of weapons to them?
Donald Trump was honoring the Budapest Agreement, right?
Oh, okay, yeah. So was Biden.
Why would he honor it? Is it because they were being invaded?
Because that's what the Budapest Agreement says.
If they're being invaded to send weapons?
Hold on. Yeah, y'all are trying to argue a point with me that
invaded?
y'all are trying to argue a point I didn't make. My point was that during Trump's first term, Putin sure did calm down, and he acted a lot different than he did during Biden or Obama.
Let's look at it more with more nuance. You want to give him credit where it's not due, in my opinion. This is why. Look at him now.
I'm not saying give him credit. I'm saying when the Democrats are in control, Russia runs roughshod and does what they want.
And I'm saying that's cheap. Now Russia is doing the same thing. When let's see, would Russia rather have Trump in office, who's not sending Ukraine aid, who is pulling military intelligence from Ukraine, so that they can just send more bombs and kill more innocent people? Is that what you're saying? Because that's what they're doing now. They're not scared of Trump. So if you're trying to say they're scared of Trump, that's wrong.
Putin doesn't care. He's a dictator. He's going to keep sending people.
So now he doesn't care if it's Trump or anybody else.
I'm saying that whether Trump cuts off the aid or not, Putin has already. I mean, this is. You have to agree that what's happening now is much bigger than what's happened in the last 20 years with Russia and Ukraine. And I mean, obviously, Putin's at a point where you can't just pull back. This isn't a small skirmish anymore. This is full-on war between two countries.
I thought they were so scared of Trump that he was going to be so mean. And so far, Trump has done nothing but send a tweet going, Putin, stop. This isn't you.
That's fine. You probably think lots of other foolish things that I didn't put that thought in your head or say that you had it. My point was that during Democratic rule, Putin felt free reign to do what he wanted. During Trump's first term, he at least paused enough to see what this guy was about. And I'll call that a win. Three terms of
if you're asserting that Republicans are somehow better on this,
I didn't
you're
say
wrong.
Republicans. I said nothing about Republicans. I said Democrats suck. Republicans also suck. Trump is neither of which. That's why Trump is
you're
awesome.
saying that Donald Trump is not a
neither.
Republican now. That's fascinating.
Trump's not. No, he's not. That's why the Republicans obviously are all in love with him. There's tons of them that are against him. That's
And
what
you
makes
think that Democrats are all in love with Biden
No,
or
seriously.
Obama for that matter?
Listen, this is an argument. I'm not trying to make an argument right now. Let me say one sentence, and I want you guys. You don't have to acknowledge it or anything. Just try to remember it in 20 years. Trump. Just think on it. Trump is the opportunity we have to have a president that wasn't all bought in on one side or the other. He was a literal outsider, and so whether he's got good
he
motivations.
knows nothing. He knows nothing about nothing, and you'll give him that excuse too.
What,
You'll give him that
what
excuse.
did Biden know? What did Biden know? Do you
Biden's
really
fantastic.
think Biden was conscious?
Yes.
Well, okay. Well, that doesn't surprise me coming from you. You also think that the basement is the place to be. So,
Well,
that's
you seem to think that Donald Trump isn't bought when he has more billionaires in his cabinet than literally any other presidential administration in American history.
He's not bought by the parties that have been selling us out. Both parties have been selling the
So
American
you admit that he's bought.
Sure, everybody's bought. You're bought.
Oh, okay. You went from saying that he
bought.
couldn't be bought because he was
We're
an
all
outsider to
bought.
saying he is bought, but he's bought by different people.
Unless you've got a magical anus that spits out gold coins, you're bought by somebody or another.
Well, I mean, you literally said that he couldn't be bought.
I didn't say he couldn't be bought. No. I said
Did
he
you
wasn't
not say
bought in
that
by
he
either
was
party.
not bought?
Not bought in by either party. He's not an establishment. He's not a rhino.
He
He's
is the
not an
person buying the party. He is endorsing every candidate he possibly can, threatening anybody in Congress or in the Senate that doesn't bend to his will, calling them out on social media. He is the most politician-y person of all politicians.
And I will admit that after 40 years of seeing how the party politics go, I'm black-pilled enough to be happy to see him shit all over it. And whatever comes of it is better than either of the other two parties would have done.
I think that's a cope. I think it's a cope. This is like an extreme disaster in every sense of the word.
Well, it's got more hope than what Biden was doing.
No, listen, I know that somehow Trump was able to convince everybody that Biden was just like kooky guy that didn't know anything that was going on. But he was so good at what he did. He outperformed everybody in every sense of the word.
That's okay. You're hilarious. That's hilarious.
I don't know what's hilarious about it.
Hold on, wait. I'll use your that's anecdotal.
That's not
Where's
anecdotal.
your proof? Where's
I
your
didn't
fact?
go around
Where's your
standing
fact?
like this was my personal experience. We have the proof that's monumental legislation back to back with a razor-thin Congress. We have 50 countries that he united to back Ukraine. We have all of our allies coming out writing letters saying, Biden, we'll miss you when he stepped down. You think someone's going to do that for Trump?
Yeah, because he was giving away money like it was water.
No,
he was
they
giving
were
away
giving
money.
away money in his name. They were giving away money to Ukraine because he asked them to.
No, they were giving money to the whole world. I mean, they
were giving money to Ukraine.
They said, we're gonna miss you. Of course, they're gonna miss you.
He told these countries to give money to Ukraine, and they did. And then they told him thank you.
Okay, so what? So how does that?
That's not logical. It doesn't follow your logic.
No, that doesn't change the fact that Russia ran shot over Ukraine during Biden's presidency.
They didn't do shit. They barely made 2 inches into Ukraine because of Biden. They should be scared to death of Biden.
All the progress
you
that
think
they
they're
made
more
was
scared of
during Biden.
Trump who's tweeting instead of sending aid?
I didn't
Do you
say
think
they're
they're more scared of
anybody.
Trump
I
who
just told
tweets?
you- I told you he's not scared of anyone. I'm just saying that during Biden, during Obama, he made big moves. During Trump, he didn't. And now Trump's inherited
That's just
this.
causation correlation. That's just like closing your eyes when it's convenient for you.
That's the exact same thing you did.
No,
you
I'm sitting here giving you the most nuance and detail I possibly can. You're just like, I don't know. If I look at a chart and I cover up all these other details, if I squint my eyes and blur everything, it kind of looks good.
All right, cool. The last caller, you got done saying, "Oh, you're not going to believe the military, the military. I forget the term, but the military groups reporting the statistics." And then he literally cited our military intelligence. And they also, I don't want to hear that. That's Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, it's Tulsi Gabbard. Do you know why Tulsi Gabbard's problematic?
It doesn't matter. She is she's the
matter.
intelligence.
It does matter. It does matter when we think. When we think that Trump and Putin have
the sources when it affects when it's good for you, and don't believe the sources when it's not good for you.
No,
just like hey, that's why
there
y'all
is
lost.
nuance for this.
Seriously, at some point you're gonna have to think back. Why did y'all lost? You
Dude,
live in no land. You live in.
This is
in
not
fantasy
why
land.
we lost, because
Home
we have
3
nuance.
super chatted $5. Even Jake Tapper is claiming the White House bid Biden's cognitive decline.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes.
That's fine. So Biden
That's
was
fine,
a
that's
more
fine.
effective president than Trump in every conceivable way.
Yeah, if you consider, eroding the American government and eroding America effective, sure.
Can you?
Yes,
Can
he's
you
definitely-
like? I don't
American
think you can. I don't think you can like substantiate that or tell me,
I don't-
articulate
I
that.
don't think.
You're just like
think
you're just
can
like if you just
substantiate
look
or
at it.
articulate that I'm wrong.
I'm sorry.
I know, dude. What's gas today versus? I mean, here, what's gas today versus a year ago? Price wise.
It's about this. It's like 12 cents lower.
Nope, it's
Do
in
you,
my
do you want
state.
me to
it's
look
40
at? You want me to look at AAA? Is AAA good? Is that what we're going to
whatever.
accept
I know
AAA?
that where I live, it's 40 cents cheaper.
Are we going to accept AAA as a resource before I pull it up?
No, because I don't like the person in charge of them. I think they're like y'all think of Tulsi Gabbard.
Okay, so again, are you going to have a good faith discussion like we've been trying to have with you, or are you just going to do this
I'm
thing
using
where you
the
try to
exact-
victimize
I'm
yourself?
using the exact same reasoning for not trusting AAA. that
No.
you use for not
Are
trusting
you
the United
going
States
to have a
military.
good faith discussion? Yes or no? I'm giving you the option.
Dude, I'm going to have as much of a good faith.
Which
discussion
source
as
would you like
guys
me to
do.
look at?
It's 347 last year, 313 this year. The reason
Cheaper.
is though
The
there's
reason is-
nuance,
here we
right?
go. Here
If
was
you
not Trump
if
and
you
Biden, was Biden.
excuse me, if you don't know anything about who affected gas prices, like can you tell me what Biden did to affect gas prices? Tell me.
Yes, he killed the first thing he did was killed the pipeline.
All right, let me
He
help
killed
you
the
with that.
pipeline deal.
The pipeline was a Canadian-owned pipeline. It was 8% complete, and it was shut down by Judge Brian Morris in 2019, which is Trump, further upheld to be stopped by the Supreme Court in 2020,
No.
which is Trump. Try again, and it was not going to affect
one of the
gas
first
prices.
Executive orders.
and
One of
it
the first
wasn't-
executive orders
yeah,
Biden
he-
signed.
Excuse me. He stopped the permit because there's no use for a permit for a pipeline that was stopped.
That's not true. Then why?
Okay.
Why? Okay,
You guys,
all
it's
right,
been
so tell me-
45
all right,
years and you haven't Googled this. It's your
all
fault
right, I'll
at
tell
this
you what.
point.
I'll tell you what. So why is gas cheaper now versus a year ago, and how is that?
Okay,
Because
I've gone through this a million times. So
All
get
right, then
ready.
it should be easy.
Get ready. I'm
Easy
gonna
and
give it
quick.
to you. I'm gonna give it to you in great detail. Okay. Do you know what the OPEC 2020 deal is?
Doesn't matter. Gas
Yes,
is cheaper
it
this year versus
does.
last.
It does matter. I'm sorry.
After gas, let's talk about inflation,
No. Okay. Let's talk about
and
the
then we'll
OPEC.
talk about the stock market.
Sure. Let's talk about 2020 because all you guys have is causation correlation. You don't
Then
know
we'll talk
anything about
then
policy.
We'll talk about fentanyl coming across the border.
All right, we're gonna abbreviate that name. Okay, so this is the retail price of regular gasoline in the United States from 1990 to 2023. Okay, and in 2020, you see this big dip right here. For the first time, gas was $37, negative $37 per barrel for the first
What
time in
happened?
history.
What happened in 2020? You're just going to ignore
COVID.
that?
It was COVID. Okay,
Yeah, but
nobody
that-
was
but-
driving. Let me finish my
There you
whole
go.
story. I'm going to give you the whole
Okay.
story and all the context. In
Uh-huh.
2020, nobody was driving, so we were stockpiling oil. Nobody could sell it. It was just stockpiling, and the price of oil it's a worldwide market. It's a worldwide commodity. So in 2020, Trump, holy fuck, Jennifer for $350 fucking donation.
Fucking A.
Big shout
I
out to
know.
Jennifer and Jason.
we
Heavens to
cook, y'all
fucking
kick.
Betsy.
I get it. When we cook, y'all kick.
No, I'm not kicking you. I don't think this is a kick. In 2020, OPEC, dude, I want to see fucking Jennifer and Jason W's in chat for like 5 minutes right now. Holy fuck. Jesus Christ. Okay. In 2020, Trump threatened Saudi Arabia that he would not sell them defensive weapons from the United States if they did not stop drilling to the tune of 9.7 million barrels per day. 9.7 million barrels per day is what they reduced their oil production by. That is a reduction in the supply in the worldwide market, okay? And for scale, we produce about 13 million barrels per day right now, okay? So that reduced the amount of oil in our stock or in the world market for 2 years. This was a 2-year agreement, and you see what happens after that? The reason for doing this was for the price of a barrel of oil to go up. He needed it to go up. Gas needs to be roughly $63 a barrel for a oil company to make money, to make profit. It needs to be around $63, so it needed to go from 37 to 63, and that's what Trump did. And he said you have to hold it there for 2 whole years, which led all the way into Biden's administration. That is what, and then Trump went around campaigning for 4 years, pointing at Biden, saying, look what Biden did. He made gas expensive. Does that sound like Trump?
Okay, that does. And listen, I'll give you that. All right, I'll give you that. But let me ask you this now in reply. If Biden was so great, why didn't he see this coming? Was he not privy to this deal? What did he do in his term to fight against this known rise in gas prices?
He allowed more drilling and signed more permits.
How did Trump beat him at the presidency when he wasn't even president?
This is not okay. Biden signed more drilling permits than Trump did his administration.
Strategically did this to Biden's term, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but what I'm saying is while Biden was president for 4 whole years, why didn't he do anything to go against that? Why didn't he do a single thing?
He did plenty. Do you know, can you name a thing
No,
Biden
he
did?
Because gas was expensive.
Can you name a bill Biden passed?
That doesn't matter.
Yes,
I'm saying
does.
gas was more expensive.
You're saying as if he didn't do anything.
I'm saying that if Biden was as great as you claim, then why didn't he do a thing to
do you see how it declines right here? Do you see how the gas goes down in price right here?
When is that?
That's 2022. That's Biden's presidency.
And how much did it go down? And then where did it go from there?
Show the rest way down. It went down to 313.
Right, where's 2024 on your graph? Where's 2024 on your graph?
It cuts off. 2024, the average gas price was $3.47.
Conveniently cuts off. They only looked at it till 2023.
This was a graph that was made in 2024.
This is silly, bro. Show 2024.
Do you think it went up? You think it went up from 23 to 24?
I believe. I can't. Okay, I'll be honest. I don't.
No,
remember.
It didn't.
But do you not see how silly that looks to me that you don't show 2024? I mean,
Dude, I've been having this conversation for a whole year. This graph is a year old.
You should find new things to talk about. You're just hammering old points that don't matter.
You literally brought up the Keystone XL pipeline, which is something that you Red Hats have been doing for years now. But you're telling us to come up with new talking points.
I like to change the goalposts just like y'all do.
So,
dude, you know what?
You admit that you're using old talking points.
Here's a few things Biden did to reduce the price of gas. He allowed more drilling, more permits. We went from 11 million barrels per day during Trump's administration to 13.4 in Biden's administration. He also passed the Inflation Reduction Act. So every dollar that we invest in alternative fuels, you don't even know anything about it. Don't even criticize it, because I bet you can't name one thing it did. The Inflation Reduction Act also invested in alternative fuels, which also gas companies have to compete. If we're sitting here providing energy to cars or other industries using renewable energies, oil companies have to compete with those prices of other alternative fuels. So it also drove gas prices down. He also sold the reserves, the national reserves. He sold them and introduced cheap oil into the world market, which made other oil companies have to compete with it, driving the price of oil down. And then he bought it cheap and made us money.
But that also left us vulnerable because we didn't have any reserve.
That didn't do anything.
To what?
Vulnerable to if there was a shortage or if another country decided to nut up.
A shortage of oil?
Stop if they decided to stop sending it to us. That's like saying inflation.
Wait, no, Red. Think about what you're saying, dude. You're saying that we were vulnerable, and you're filibustering. You're trying to just get past the point because you realize what you just said. Vulnerable to what? Our enemies exploiting our lack of oil? Did they?
Yes, by pricing it up, and that's why the prices.
Did they?
Because all of a sudden we don't have a reserve.
Did they do that? Did they do that?
Yes, prices were up last year. They're down this year.
No, Red, they didn't.
Prices are down this year versus
you were
last
saying
year.
you were trying to shame Biden for using the Strategic Petroleum Reserve for what it was designed for.
Right, and then once you get rid of it, then you hold no
No,
cards.
no, Red.
want, and they
Think
did.
about what you're saying. Do you know why the SPR was created?
Do you know that
Just say
prices
no.
of last year versus
Just
now?
say no.
It's irrelevant.
Red. No,
Prices
it's
last
irrelevant.
year,
Then don't
prices
talk
this
about
year are
like,
down.
well, if we got rid of
Trump
some
did,
in the SPR,
Biden
that
bad.
left us vulnerable. You don't know what it was for, Red.
It doesn't matter.
It
That
does.
No, because gas is cheaper now than it was last year.
SPR. I'm sorry, Red. If you don't know what the SPR is for, then you can't shame Biden for using it.
You know what? Whatever. If that's what you believe, that's fine.
Don't say
If you can-
it's your point,
No,
dude.
you
I'm the
can
one that's
believe
just
that- no,
saying,
you
hey,
can-
he used the SPR for the thing the SPR was designed for. You can
can believe
find
my opinion is
Republicans
invalid
saying
based
that
on
we shouldn't
whatever-
have an SPR.
You decide it's invalid for. That's fine.
What?
You can decide that my opinion is invalid for whatever reasons you want to think it's invalid for.
You just
But
said
gas is
whatever
cheaper this
to
year
your
than
own
last
point.
year.
You said whatever to your own point. Like, what else am I supposed to do?
No, whatever's in. I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't care. Like, I don't even know why he has used co-hosting. You're lame as crap, dude. Pickled, surely you've got better quality friends than this.
Nemo's probably one of the smartest people on TikTok.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's like being the smartest kid with Down syndrome.
Come on, bro. All right.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's great is whenever you like use old jokes from a movie from back in like what 2005.
I remember my first joke.
Yeah, movies from Waiting.
Chat, tap the screen. How are we only at 66,000 likes? Chat, you're selfish. You're selfish. Tap the screen, guys. I also want y'all to know that I'm going to be playing the absolute fuck out of the new Dune game tonight on stream. If y'all want to follow my alt account, it's right here at the bottom of the screen. The new Dune game is so badass, guys. If y'all haven't seen it, it's so absolutely killer.
Also very quickly, and yes, I did get that. Thank you for the PayPal. You said, love a Nemo Pickles team up. Oh wait, there's probably more to that. Hold on, stand by.
Pickles. 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 Hey. Say hi. Andrew, are you there?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Some comebacks. I voted for him in January, and I probably just shouldn't have voted at all, if you want my honest opinion. I voted for Trump thinking that prices were going to go lower. I think a lot of people that voted for him thought that, and then it's just not true. And all these people coming up here trying to defend Trump on Ukraine and Russia. How do you think that Ukraine got the intel to take out 30% of Russia's bombers?
It wasn't from us. Yeah.
It was from the two people that went over to Russia and spent $800,000 on their hotel stay and their food that they got. And 2 days later, 30% of his bombers got destroyed. So people that think that Trump has nothing to do with this Ukraine stuff are completely delusional. He's neck deep. Well, I mean, America is neck deep in this shit too. So, and I don't support either side. Obviously, I'm just a neutral person. But for the world, the last thing that the world needs is a nuclear war, and that's the biggest threat right now is the nuclear capability of Russia and the U.S. And I don't know if it's true or not about me hearing about Putin having an assassination attempt on him, or if that was just Russian propaganda. But obviously things are going to get talked about and twisted and be beneficial on both sides in different ways. I mean,
Putin's been attempted to be assassinated many
a lot.
times. Yeah.
A lot. But I'm just saying right now,
right now at the height of everything, especially around the time that he was gonna, he loses 30% of his nuclear capability of jets, and then an assassination attempt, and you've got Trump in office that said that he would, you know, stop this war on the first day, and obviously we're still in Ukraine. Um, I can't agree with Trump at all. I just wanted to come up here and say that I think we're screwed either way. I think that Putin's not going to hold back. I think that he's going to go even harder now because of all the stuff coming out. Um, my first thought is I think that Trump needs to pull us out of NATO.
Why
Um,
would you want that?
because I really, well, you don't want to hear my opinion, but I think that NATO should have been destroyed back when the USSR was destroyed. Um, I
Why?
don't think that there's a reason for NATO anymore.
Do you know how many
I
times
think
they've
that
invaded their
Nate,
their neighbors since?
I get that. What I'm saying is, so the USSR disbanded, and that's why NATO was created. NATO was created to defend from any kind of USSR attacks. And I have a few. In
Just
my
because the
opinion, I
name
think
is
that
different
NATO should
doesn't
just
mean they're
be.
not still an adversary. We went through the Cold War after that.
I get that. What I'm saying is that Russia, you've got all these countries in Eastern Europe that disbanded from the USSR, and as soon as that happened, NATO should have been completely disbanded. I mean, that was
They're
the
still a
reason that
threat.
NATO was created. Russia's a threat, but I don't think that the other neighboring countries are a threat.
Now, do you,
We didn't
it's
do
just
it.
a
We
North
didn't
Atlantic
do it.
treaty. It doesn't mean they're only defending themselves against Russia.
No, what I'm saying is the USSR disbanded, and nobody the USSR doesn't even exist anymore.
There's still other
And NATO's
adversaries.
okay, like who?
China.
Okay, that's a good point, but I really don't think China's a threat. I think that China just wants to be the business people of the world. I don't think they want to get into a war with
What
anybody.
about North
Tell
Korea?
Taiwan
What
that.
about the time they
Well,
helped us
okay,
after 9/11?
no, North Korea is fucking crazy, dude. Okay, North Korea is its own entity. They don't even they're not even I don't even think they're part of the world. I think that they are a nuisance to the world. I mean,
There's a
look at
reason
how
they
they
But they also have
brainwashed their.
nukes.
There's a reason they haven't struck their neighbors.
Well, there's a reason. Here's my thought on that situation. The reason why North Korea hasn't done anything to anybody is because China would send their CIA in to assassinate Kim Jong Un. That is my belief because they're neighboring China, and Russia's biggest border is with China.
North Korea
And
is helping Russia,
I,
dude.
when you
I don't know. Just because there was a name change and a
okay,
regime
there's a
change doesn't
guy.
doesn't mean that we shouldn't have allies. Like we are much less likely to be attacked by adversaries if we're all together. If attack on one of us is attack on all of us, there is more likely to be peace around the world, right?
Okay, let me say this. I don't think that the U.S. benefits from being in NATO because we give so much money. We spend so much more money on NATO than any other country
That's a
does.
lie.
Okay, how is it a lie?
So Russia spent a lot of money and a lot of time propagandizing people like you who don't understand this so that you're for leaving NATO. Okay? That's why I want to start this conversation with. I also want to say that Trump has played a part in this. He says if NATO doesn't pay their fair share, Russia can do whatever the hell they want. That is why you think that we're paying into this NATO slush fund, right? You think that we are taking money and we're going, here's money for NATO and putting it into some like foreign bank account, or we're like beefing up someone else's military. Is that what you think?
You're out of the app, Andrew. Anytime that you can't see our face, we can't hear you.
Sorry, I was looking at my phone. I'm not a Russia, pro anything,
Forget that.
but I'm a U.S.
Do you think that we're giving money to other nations because of NATO?
Yes, I think that we
That's
have our
not how that
hands
works.
in other countries.
That's not how
Yes,
that
I do.
works. That's not how that works. NATO is just a 2% commitment to invest into your own military. So we invest way more than 2% of our GDP into our own military. And there's these things called like NATO approved defense weapons or NATO approved equipment. So like you have to have certain amount of this type of tank or this type of bomb. That would be a NATO approved expense, but that's it. We don't go and take money and send it to NATO and like put it into a slush fund. That's not how that works. So anybody who tells you we would save money by leaving NATO is ridiculously wrong. They're just lying to you.
Okay, so I'm not saying saving money. I'm saying to protect our own country. I think that it is in the US best interest to leave NATO and to
Would
bring
be
all of our military
stronger.
bases that are
No, what? We would be stronger with all of these countries on our side than without them on our side, easily. What?
you understand that we're surrounded by two major oceans and it's almost impossible for the US to be invaded. I feel like we should come home
Yeah,
and
but when
not
we go
mess
and
with other countries.
when we go, like, who's the only country to ask for assistance in NATO? Who's the only country to ever invoke Article 5?
Couldn't tell you.
Us.
The U.S.
I mean,
invoked
I don't
Article.
know.
Go
I
ahead.
don't know if you want me to say that. I mean, I'm not up here to say that I'm 100% correct or wrong. I am saying that that's what I think. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I have my own opinion, that's great.
Well,
But
it's so. Listen, man. Like, being wrong on something is fine as long as you're willing to accept the correction and change your thinking. Like, it's not a matter of a difference of opinion. What Pickles was explaining to you perfectly is that Donald Trump did a wonderful spin operation into making people think that we send money to NATO, that we spend our money on something that is not ours in NATO. And that is incorrect. And he did that by saying pay their fair share. So when you say like we should get out of NATO because we have these big oceans and no one's near us and all that stuff, we would actually be, or we'd be stronger. We need to worry about ourselves. NATO is literally just a club, and everybody in that club makes a bunch of agreements. One of those agreements is that if anybody in this club is punched in the face by anyone outside of the club, then everybody in the club is going to go and ruin the day of the person that punched that person in the face. That's all it means. So we are stronger in NATO because we're still spending the same amount of money on our military regardless. Because again, we're not sending money to NATO. We're not spending like extra money on NATO military stuff, right? It's our military budget going to our military. Every member of NATO does the same thing. Every country has its own military. Every country's military has a budget. That's how it works. And so the US has a military budget. We spend a ton on our military. The end of story. And all that NATO says is, hey, cool, you're in the club, you got protection. That's all it is. There is no extra nothing.
If you want to be in the club, you got to be strong like us. You got to spend money on your own military. You got to meet a 2% of your GDP. That's your threshold you got to meet. That's it. That's it. And the only person who would benefit from us leaving NATO is Putin. That's it. Kim Jong-un. That's the only people. We would have fewer places, like we would have fewer like military bases worldwide for them to be worried about. We would have fewer friends on the world stage. We'd have fewer people buying our military stuff so that we would have a strong economy, a military industrial complex. We would have far less experience on the world stage fighting wars. We would have far less intel of what's going on the world stage. It's a literal no-brainer.
I'm gonna say two things, then I'll jump down. And one is just an opinion, and then two, I just want to give you guys some praise. So my biggest thing is I don't want America getting involved in a world war with Russia. Don't think there's a winner. I think that could be the end of the world. I really think that'd be good.
Oh,
Is that me or is that him?
And I just want to say, I respect you guys having debates with people and actually being respectful and not just screaming and over talking and calling people names. I've heard the last 2 or 3 people come up here and you guys have been respectable. So I appreciate what you guys are doing, and you guys let people have opinions and then you just kind of debate about it.
for sure. Well, you have a good day, Andrew. Thanks for hanging out.
I will. I do want to say, man, there's a lot of people that just want to shoot people and tell them that they're are open to hearing other sides of the hallway, I guess. So.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, all right, guys.
All right, take it easy. He was cutting out there towards the end. Sorry. Guys,
Thank you, Jason and Jen, for the Venmo. Thank you very, very much for that. Appreciate it. More W's for Jason and Jen.
More W's. We love Jason and Jen, y'all. Dang. Chat, don't forget to follow if you enjoyed this type of content, and give Nemo all the love as well. His Cash App and bio are in his Cash App and Venmo are in his bio. Be sure to send gifts and give him a follow. He is way smarter than I am. Yellow. User number? I think it's like the second time they've come up. Yellow? Jackie? Being active. I got you. I got you. Oh, God. Oh, my gosh. Open up YouTube. I am here, the man. I'm looking. Why are Democrats so into war? I sound like a warmonger. No, I'm into stifling aggressive people who will actually cause wars. I'm into stifling that. The way to stop actual world wars is to jump in early. We learned this in World War II, where we go, dang, if we would have got here way earlier, maybe less people would have died. Being for a country defending itself is not being pro-war. That's the other thing that really frustrates me. It's like I don't know if it's like propaganda or like mind games. I feel like some straight up KGB wizardry. Like when I hear that, I want to explode.
Yeah, I think that it's just like another expression of like the isolationist mindset, because the same thing happened in pre-World War II. So like before the US got involved, so like in 1939, 1940, the war was going on, but we weren't officially in it. And there were a lot of people in the US who were quote unquote peace activists and literally America first, and anti-war. And the whole idea was that I don't know, that defense is somehow being pro-war when it's not.
Someone on YouTube just said less people would have died if they just would have given up. Oh my God.
Right?
If we would have stayed out of Ukraine. What? Like, would you be for, like, if someone invaded the United States in order to save lives, because we would slaughter them, should we just lay down and take it? We would just slaughter whoever tried to invade the US. Should we just lay down and take it? Because we would save lives doing that. No. You fucking nincompoop. You fucking Pop-Tart. The hell?
I mean, like that mindset, that it's literally the mindset, again, of World War II, like appeasement. It's literally appeasement. Like, okay, well, you can have this, but you have to promise to stop there. Like, we will not go to war with you as long as you promise that this is all you're gonna take. And so now, okay, so we're gonna annex the Sudetenland, and then, oh, just kidding, the rest of Czechoslovakia. But that's a promise. That's all. Oh, also Austria. Okay, never mind. Just kidding. Also, Poland. Oh shit, those are treaties. Oh god, World War II. Literally, like that. This is the thing. Appeasement doesn't work.
If you just gave Putin what he wanted, nobody would have died. You see how you're carrying water for Putin? You see how gross you are? When you have to side with Trump, like, it's so gross. It still sounds pro-war. Dude, what the fuck? The people who are all about having pew-pews just in case they have to turn on a tyrannical government. Wouldn't that save lives if you didn't have pew-pews at all? You're pro-war. How about that?
I mean, like, that talking point can also be reversed easily, right? It's like, well, fewer Russians would have lost their lives if Putin just threw his weapons down and got out of Ukraine. Like, why does he insist on being so pro-war?
Fewer people would have died if we assassinated Putin. If we just bombed the Kremlin or something, like, I don't know. I'm sure it's not that easy at all, but in this landscape of what in the world we live in today, why do we need NATO? This is like, again, like, obviously you guys are terrified that we're going to go to world war. Wouldn't you want to be on the side where, like, the entire developed world, like the westernized world, is on our side? Wouldn't you want to be on that side? Wouldn't you want to be in a world where we continue to have peace because we're in such a huge treaty? Like, who is so antsy to leave a treaty? Why are y'all so what TV are y'all watching? What news station are you fucking reading where this is making sense to you? We wouldn't save any money. It would be more expensive. We'd be fighting uphill battles every time. Strength in numbers, yeah. Like, the fact that we haven't been attacked is because we're NATO. Because the fact that other countries haven't been invaded, the reason why our adversaries haven't grown in size and haven't gotten stronger is because we're NATO.
One thing that the guy before the last one mentioned was that the Soviet Union dissolved, then NATO should have dissolved because it was designed to stop the spread of, or to check the Soviet Union. And he said that I think he mentioned something about how none of the Soviet states, I can't remember exactly what he said. It was like tried to rejoin the Soviet Union or something. No, the former Soviet bloc ended up joining NATO. So Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, I mean, I guess Finland, kind of, Ukraine. Well, no, I'm sorry, not Ukraine. Let me see. Who else am I thinking of? Poland.
Yeah.
And I think there's one more. Doesn't matter. Anyway, all those countries ended up joining the Soviet, or the NATO. Joined NATO after being in the Soviet Union. So, I mean, yeah, like, it's all voluntary. Whereas with the Soviet Union, it was more coerced.
I love when they say, "Well, Russia tried to join NATO."
What? Yeah, it's like such a bizarre argument. Yeah. Also, like the argument, well, Russia just didn't want NATO on its borders, so I made the mistake of originally not looking at the NATO map from when it was created. So NATO was created in 1949. And I use the map from, I think, like the early 2000s. And that's when like Poland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, they all touch Russia. And so then it's like, oh, okay, but they've literally been on Russia's border for decades.
Yeah, I think it was
but
like
actually,
08.
yeah. But if you actually look at the original map, Norway touches Russia, and Norway has been in NATO since the very beginning. Yeah, so at the very top.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, Latvia 04, Lithuania 04, Estonia. Lithuania doesn't actually touch. I guess they do. What is it? Oh, this is Ukraine.
Yeah, so the little yellow piece right there that's above Poland, that is what's called Kaliningrad. It's an exclave. Same concept as like how we have Alaska. It's
Okay.
not like part of the like contiguous, but it is the country. Kaliningrad is this piece of Russia that they keep specifically so they have access to that sea right there, so the Baltic Sea. And it's very important to them.
Yeah, we should fucking should snag that.
Oh, Romania was the other one. That's it. Yep, Romania was the other one.
What's good? What's good?
Yellow. What's up, bub?
I just wanted to emphasize like the U.S.'s position during World War II and how isolationism actually affected Europe. It affected the Jewish people, not allowing them to come in here and flee, and how we got involved into that. Because we need to look at what's happening now and see that it's the same scenario.
Oh, this is 4-year-old map. Yeah. Yeah, I said something to that effect earlier.
Yeah. I mean, you just have to look at history and see how it repeats itself. It's not always exact. There's always variations. And this is just one of those variations. Us not helping Ukraine against Russia, even every country in the European Union understands that Putin will not stop at Ukraine. As soon as you embolden somebody like that, they're going to keep going. That's why the alliance was made in the first place.
Someone said I didn't point out Ukraine properly. Yes, I did, actually.
No, Ukraine was under, actually.
Huh?
Ukraine is the bigger country underneath that little one you pointed out with the mouse.
This?
I can't see because my face is in the way, honestly.
Oh. Russia, Ukraine. This is Crimea.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody tagged me in a comment. Russia will not stop. I have family that lives in Portugal. They understand this. They know. They've seen this.
Yeah, I had that right.
Anytime you embolden a bad actor, things get worse. And us spending part of a very small portion of our military budget to help Ukraine is not a problem for the U.S. It's not a problem for NATO or the European countries that Biden got all together. to help them fund.
Yeah, I mean, like that's what I was kind of getting at with when I had mentioned Afghanistan in the 80s. So,
Right.
you know, very brief thing. If people don't know, weren't around at the time, basically, back in 1979, the USSR invaded Afghanistan, tried to like prop up the communist government there. And we were still kind of reeling from Vietnam, and we were like, oh, okay, cool. We're going to return the favor and turn this into Russia's Vietnam. And that's exactly what we did. So we propped up the forces in Afghanistan, which, I mean, there's a whole other thing with that, but whatever. We propped them up, and it took a while, and then Russia pulled out of Afghanistan. They did not successfully incorporate Afghanistan into the USSR.
Exactly. And there's reasons for that too. If people think that Russia is any sort of real threat to the United States military, that's wild thinking. Russia's not a problem. We can deal with them without putting boots on the ground. We can deal with them financially. We can help with armory and munitions and stuff like that. And people don't understand too that part of the money that we allocated to go to Ukraine was to give them our stockpiles, which cost us money to disarm. And we went and built, I think it was in Texas, right, Pickles, the factory that was restocking.
I haven't been listening. I've been reading.
Oh yeah. No, so I was saying the money, part of the money that was spent, like we sent in our old stockpiles as far as munitions and stuff like that, and then we spent money here in the U.S. I believe it was Texas that was building new munitions to actually have in our stockpile.
Yeah,
so,
like 100 billion of it was kept right here. Yeah,
was
in
kept
the United
here.
States. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's fucking clown shoes behavior to talk about that and cry about it.
To think about that, exactly, because people don't realize like these things have shelf lives as well, and it costs us money to disarm this stuff that's old in our stockpiles. So it's better off being sent over somewhere where we can help the non-aggressor of a conflict, right?
Yeah. Either it gets disarmed, which that costs money, or we use it in training exercises. So it's going to get
Right.
used either way. And, if we can send it to be used for something good and also end up getting paid for it, like that's kind of like the long-term thing is the, Lend-Lease. So it was an all-around good decision. It benefits us. Any type of equipment that we send over to Ukraine, we are backfilling in real time.
Right.
And we are, like, American jobs are being either created or maintained because
of
like,
that.
you got to manufacture. Yeah.
Exactly that. And it's everybody from the average worker within those contracts to the people that own the company as well or have the contracts with the government. Like, now, not to say that we don't spend an exorbitant amount of money, right? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous when you look at the numbers of what we spend on our military. But going back and seeing how we've been basically the world police and to try to deflect conflict or try to like minimize stuff so that we don't have another world war, it's been money well spent. And people need to realize that. Like, we are the richest country in the world. There's no question about that. China, we've sent a ton of money to China for manufacturing and stuff like that. And you can look at their country in the last like 40, 50 years and how much advancement they've done as well. We've emboldened that, and that's not a horrible thing either, because then again, we need the global trade to get those cheap products and use our dollar efficiently. So it brings back to like the whole money aspect is kind of off, but the money well spent is stuff where we can defend the non-aggressor. We can minimize Russia's, soft power that they're trying to use. That's our playbook. You know what I mean? That's what we've been doing since after World War II, is we are the soft power of the world. We are the ones that go in and help people.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's the sad part is that's what China's doing now.
Yeah.
Like, so China, there's a few different efforts that they have. One is like what's called the Belt and Road Initiative, or the String of Pearls. And the whole idea is to use soft power to go into places, into areas that aren't, great economically, and offer infrastructure, offer like the chance to build things that will benefit that country. And
Right.
in the case of China, it typically ends up being like ports and stuff like that. Uh, and their targets primarily have been African nations, but they've done this all over the place.
Right.
And there are strings attached, of course, and that's how they benefit from it, which is like, I think they get preferential treatment on the port that they end up building.
Yeah, and it's
But
not
that's
even
how
just
soft
ports.
power works.
Yeah, it's not even just ports, actually. In the African nations, they were building infrastructure for the country's government and stuff like that, like government buildings, and using Chinese contractors. And it's like kind of stifling those countries as well for money, because it shows as a debt. They're required to pay it back at some point, right? So it kind of puts them in a position where they have to release their mineral rights or whatever they have to trade
Exactly.
of value. Exactly.
And Africa is one of the, in the next like 10 years, Africa is going to become far, 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 far more important in the game of minerals. So
Minerals and resources. Yeah, 100%.
yeah, like there's a ton of like rare earth mineral wealth there that is currently untapped or not tapped enough. And that's why China has been paying attention and doing the soft power stuff in Africa. That's why the US did that for a time. And then Trump, I guess in this time around, just gave everyone the middle finger, pulled out US aid. I mean, this is without soft power, all you have is hard power. Hard power is military, right?
Right.
And that's how the USSR did things. They used hard power. So they used their military to kind of coerce whoever they were interested in, doing what they wanted. And I mean, that can work sometimes, but it's not as easy as soft power. And it ends up being far more costly because, people end up losing their lives and the military ain't cheap, as
Right.
opposed to, hey, we're going to build this bridge for you. Like, that's the thing. And I know that people, it's easy to buy the talking point of, well, we shouldn't send our money to these countries over here when we got homeless people here. It's easy to like buy into that talking point. The thing is that the money that's being sent is so minuscule. Like, I think that US aid was like less than 1% of the US budget.
Right.
Like, less than 1% of the US budget was US aid. And that's like in totality. And it's been like that for a long time.
It's $10 billion.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, it's way less. Yeah.
Yeah.
9.
Yeah, that's less than 0.5%. Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Think of it this way too. Think of it this way too. Like, I think that if Russia had come up with the soft power idea instead of going in Ukraine in 2014, if they had set up contracts to get to the sea, have access to the sea with Ukraine and paid, wouldn't that have been a better situation than trying to go into a sovereign nation and just take over land? See, like when we do stuff as US with soft power, we understand that the money goes a lot farther when it's spent like that versus putting our military in place and boots on the ground. It's not just the casualties, like you say, Nemo, it's the cost of getting the stuff there, it's the logistics and everything like that. And when we talk about Russia with their military logistics, it's an absolute joke. That's why like running them for 2 or 3 years depletes them so much, and why this break that Trump is giving is allowing Russia to like replenish their stuff and become a little stronger.
Well, like the thing that Russia's doing, and I mean, I guess Putin is doing, he is using a 20th century mindset in the 21st
Right.
century, which is ownership of dirt, right? So, is it our border? Is this a part of our country, right? Is this on a map? Is this ours, right? And that is like a 20th century understanding of like geopolitics.
Right.
21st century understanding of it is literally, I mean, okay, like this map says this, but are we friends with those people? Like, does it benefit us? I mean, if it benefits us, who cares if like it belongs to another country? If that country likes us and we get the same benefit, okay, cool, whatever. So that's the difference. And because Putin is using that 20th century understanding, he's like, because he desperately wants a map to show this belongs to Russia.
Right.
Look at what it's costing, you know? Whereas, like you said, soft power, if they had done that, okay, yes, it would belong to Ukraine. But if Ukraine was super happy, friendly with Russia, who cares, right?
It would have at least been a situation where Russia wouldn't be disenfranchised, because you have to figure what they lost too by sending oil to Germany and stuff like that in the pipeline. So there's all these avenues that Russia could actually become a prosperous society and become like more powerful and have the logistics and all the stuff that they want. But they're going off, like you say, the 20th century ideology where it's like, oh, we just need to go in there and get the land. It's like, no, man, that's not how you have to do stuff these days. You know, you can literally just make a contract with Ukraine, have access to what you need, pay the money, and increase your industry, your access to sell to the world, right?
Chat, let's get some more taps on the screen. If you are a Trump supporter and you want to debate, hop in the box. I might switch over to a gaming stream for a little bit and take a break and then do more debates later tonight or something, if we don't get any more debates here soon. Nobody says you need lipstick pickles. Would you F me? I'd F me.
Hop me down, Pickles. I just wanted to emphasize the World War II stuff for you.
All right, girl. Love you.
Appreciate you. Bye, Nemo.
See ya.
Hello Kitty Island Adventure. How am I liking the Elon Trump divorce? I like it. I like it.
Has anything happened? Because like I was on Dan's stream like when the shit was hitting the fan the other day, and then I like passed out for a day and a half. So did anything happen yesterday?
Only notable thing I've heard is that Elon's deleting some of these tweets.
Okay.
Maybe most of them. I hate that. What a puss. What a vagine. Elon tweeted more? Is Maha a bad idea too? Yes. Make America Healthy Again is completely antithetical to what RFK is doing. RFK is a fucking clown. He's an absolute idiot and a conspiracy theorist, and a anti-science idiot. Most things he says and reports on, most of his beliefs are based in conspiracy. The latest report that they just released had such bad errors in citing their studies and their methodology. It was so bad that Karen Levitz actually addressed it. And if you want to vote for the party that is looking to put consumer protections in place and to stop companies from feeding us products that have shit in it, you would vote blue. You would vote blue. That's it. If you want to vote for the party that strikes down FDA regulations, who's going to defund the FDA, who likes to do things so that corporations can make a few extra bucks at the risk of giving you fucking listeria. That's Trump. Vote for Trump.
Yeah, there's a salmonella outbreak in cucumbers right now. I looked it up. Yeah, there's like recalls going on with cucumbers.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
I love my red dye. Honestly, whatever. Take red 40 out. Sure. If we try to do it, you would call us fucking communists. If some white old dude with a weird voice is whoever is the person to convince you to get that out of our food, then sure, let's do it. But if go ahead, drink your unpasteurized milk, drink your fucking your water without fluoride in it. Whatever, dude. Go for it.
Yeah, like the whole Maha thing, like it's the talking points are really inconsistent because, for instance, like the red dyes and stuff like that. One common talking point that I've heard many times is like, well, if you look at a food product in the US and you look at that same food product in Canada or in Europe, the one in the US has like way more ingredients, and it's because Canada and Europe have better standards and they don't allow all these evil chemicals in the food. Okay, so are you advocating for making our food standards the same as Europe? Because if you are, then we're going to be increasing regulation.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think that it's chicken. Chicken is one example. Not allowed to be sold in Europe. Our chicken. And I mean, there's any number of examples like that. And it's because of, like, how we process that stuff here. And I'm all for going and just, like, mirroring Europe's food standards. Cool, go for it, fine. But that means you're advocating for more regulation, which I don't have a problem with that, but I thought that Republicans hated that.
Yeah. And you're definitely not going to be RFK is definitely not going to be putting us in the right direction with all that. Like, again, he was the one who, dude, he believes that schmaxines give autism, cause autism in children, fucking incoherent, dumb, already disproven widely by the medical community. There's no basis for you to believe that. The whole fluoride thing, the whole pasteurized milk thing, complete fucking nonsense. And basically, he's just a what would you call it? Like a contrarian. Like, he just wants to have edgy takes on everything. He wants to have edgy takes on everything and have a voice because he's fucking pathetic, dude. He has fucking he has weird, bad takes, anti-Semitic takes in some cases.
Yeah. Yeah, I played like that one clip of him talking about like the anti-Semitic take that he had with the schmaxine.
Yes.
It's insane. A lot of it is just this skepticism or rejection of modernity. Like that this is a common thing. It's like, well, back in the day things weren't this bad. That is the assumption. And so people who are generally conservative are going to work with that assumption, and then they apply that to literally everything. And so, well, when I was growing up, we didn't have all these diseases. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. We just weren't as good. We weren't as good at catching them or whatever.
Yeah, we weren't diagnosing them. We didn't know about some of them, and it was also like taboo for us to even talk about some of these things. Like, sometimes you just thought someone was weird, and it turns out you're an adult being diagnosed with autism.
Yeah, I remember like my mom told me about the conversations that she had with her mom, and so my grandmother, she was like in her 80s, and she ended up getting oh shit, I believe it was ovarian cancer. And so the issue with that was, for the longest time, they didn't talk about it because it was like, my grandmother was raised in a very socially conservative, like, you don't talk about that, that's a woman's issue, okay, this is women's health, and you just classified as women's health, and you use these euphemisms, you just didn't talk about those things. And it's frustrating because, like, okay, I understand what you're like, you might not say that in front of a 5-year-old perhaps, right? But when you're adults, when you're all grown-ups, these are things that, even if they're private, you want to talk about them. That way you can address them. It's like this, whole 1950s Andy Griffith show conservatism. This just, we can't talk about the fact that women have certain parts. That's not modest. And it's just a lot of that. So, like, to your point, yeah, a lot of things weren't discussed. Like, women's health was simply not discussed because it was seen as sexual or whatever. Red tent shit, exactly. Yes.
Are you into Dune? Are you into sci-fi?
Yeah, Dune. So are you saying Dune as in like a sand dune, or Doom like
Dune,
Mars?
like a sand dune?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They just are you a gamer at all?
Not as much. That's why, like, I when you mentioned the game, I thought you were talking about like Doom as in, Demons Mars, and I was like, oh, I didn't know they made a game. Dune made it. They have a Dune game.
It just came out. It's actually not even officially released until 3 days from now, but there's like early access, and it's so fucking sick. If y'all have watched the movies, you can choose to play a Bene Gesserit, and I have this just fucking badass, like pale, skinny chick with like badass black eye makeup. Oh, it's so
wow.
Good. Oh man, it's so fucking sick.
Dune is like one of those things that there's so much lore in that universe that, like, it's ripe for just turning that into games, or like, making any number of different types of games out of it. Oh man. Oh, that's cool. No, I didn't know they made a Dune game. That's amazing. Is it like a RPG? Like, what's the deal with it?
It's a fucking MMO. It's a survival roguelike MMO.
Oh shit.
So you're in the desert, and there's other players, and you can see other players that like set up a camp. It's kind of like Rust. Are you familiar with Rust?
Yeah.
So it's kind of Rust. You scavenge, you build a base. You're constantly fighting against dehydration. So like if you're standing in the sun, you're dehydrating, you're losing life. And if you unalive somebody, you can go and drain their blood with like a gun, and you bring it back to your base, and this processor, this machine pulls the water out of their blood so that you can drink the water.
Oh wow.
And it's so sick.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've gone down like these rabbit holes on YouTube of just like all the lore behind Dune, and it's just endless.
Yeah.
It really is like Lord of the Rings level lore, just insanity.
I'm gonna play it. Oops.
Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Sound like a didgeridoo, did I not?
So like he's walking through the desert. You see this little thing? The sandworms can come and fucking they hear your footsteps. So if you're standing in the middle of the open for too long, this fucking sandworm just comes and fucking swallows your shit whole.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
All right, your commentary sucks.
And then I need to make a probe launcher.
Yeah, you can build like a little bike. There's a bunch of crafting.
Oh my god, there's another one.
It's giving me like flashbacks of KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic.
Yes, yeah.
Your mom. Oh yeah, assault rifle's way better.
Yeah, I want to see a good preview though. I literally, like, my arm hairs were raised when I was like starting the game. What do they call it? Trailer.
Rated M for mature.
You can scale just about anything. That's building a base. Oh, it's so dope. Oh yeah, girl. Oh, it's so beautiful.
That's awesome. Someone asked if you can ride a sandworm. Is that mechanic in the game?
I don't know. I'm gonna say it probably will be. It's very open world. It's very interactive. I've only played it for a few hours.
Yeah, that looks cool as hell.
Yeah. Massive sandstorms too, yeah. Some coverage of what's going on in LA. Okay, LA protests.
Yep. There's big protests about ICE being ICE, and there's another protest as well.
The Trump administration's crackdown on immigration has set off violent protests in Los Angeles. Authorities arrested dozens of people in raids across the city. Mayor Karen Bass accuses immigration agents of sowing terror in communities.
A tense confrontation broke out in downtown Los Angeles after immigration authorities targeted undocumented immigrants. Protesters gathered outside the city's Metropolitan Detention Center and chanted,
"We are here, united in community, joined in our indignation as to what has happened in our city, in our neighborhoods, in our workplaces. Our community is under attack and is being terrorized. These are workers, these are fathers, these are mothers, and this has to stop."
On Friday, caravans of unmarked military-style vehicles were seen on the streets of Los Angeles. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE agents, raided multiple locations and took dozens of people into custody. Some protesters attempted to stop immigration authorities from carrying people away.
Damn.
A huge number of our community members were taken in raids today. It's not been identified to us their names. They are not allowing attorneys in. They just told us right now that they're suspending all attorney visits, so they're denying access to us attorneys who are here to represent clients.
It has left immigrant communities worried about the status of their safety.
I was at work and I was trying to celebrate with my students, but I was thinking of all the people that were being separated from their families. We talked to the street vendors that were outside of our school to let them know that we're safe, that we're there for them. But it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like that when they're constantly attacking hardworking people, when they're attacking our friends, when they're attacking our neighbors. It doesn't feel like we're safe.
The unprecedented raids are part of President Donald Trump's extensive crackdown on illegal migration. He has vowed to arrest and deport undocumented immigrants in record numbers.
We're now joined by Eva Bitran. She's Director of Immigrants' Rights at the American Civil Liberties Union in Los Angeles. Eva, why are these protests happening now?
These protests are happening because ICE agents are coming into our communities masked and aggressive in military uniform and taking family members away from their children, away from their loved ones, away from their jobs, and kidnapping them, taking them to holding centers where they are held incommunicado with the aim of eventually taking them out of the jurisdiction or even the country before they can fight their claims in court.
Now, did the deployment of the federal police officers come as a surprise, or had that been announced?
We know that from the very beginning, the Trump administration has had California and Los Angeles in its sights because of the way that we are a welcoming community for immigrants. That said, these specific actions on this day were not known to us. And of course, while we've been trying to prepare our community for the whole length of the Trump administration, these specific raids came as a surprise.
Now, the way the agents or the authorities behaved here were reportedly quite heavy-handed. Were they also illegal? And is this the Trump administration's new strategy?
Absolutely. We are seeing a huge show of disproportionate force, which is unnecessary, unlawful, and unconstitutional. We're also seeing absolutely indiscriminate raids. So instead of targeting people that the administration has real reason to believe are here without status and subject to deportation, which is what the Constitution requires, instead, agents are coming indiscriminately and prying people from their jobs, from their homes, in a way that is contrary to the U.S. Constitution.
Now, what can organizations as your own do to help these people?
First, we are working with our community partners to identify and find contact information for those who have been picked up. Second, we are trying to get attorneys into the facilities. As you heard in the segment, they've been told they cannot enter, which is a violation of people's constitutional rights. And third, we are exploring every possibility of litigation against the tactics themselves, the incredible show of force and the indiscriminate way that people were targeted.
And what do you think we can expect in the next few days? Will these raids go on?
We certainly hope that they will not, and that city leaders and officials can stand up to the Trump administration. if they do continue, we know community will be out in the streets watching and observing and trying to hold the administration accountable.
Eva Bertrand from the American Civil Liberties Union in Los Angeles. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're now joined by Jason Campidonia from NBC News and iHeartRadio in.
Woof. Crazy stuff, y'all. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, apparently they interrupted an elementary school graduation recently. I'm reading about that right now. That's insane.
Imagine being this disruptive and still not deporting as many as Biden.
Yeah. They also, like, the reports that they are deporting people that are showing up to their hearings for like immigration related stuff. What do you think that is gonna incentivize? Do you think that people are going to continue to show up to hearings and like actually follow the process legally if that is what's gonna happen? Like, if they know that ICE is waiting outside of a courthouse, do you think that they're going to go and do the actual legal process?
That and the when they broke the veil between the IRS, when they got their information from the ITIN numbers or the people who pay taxes, the breaking that trust. Now they're not going to pay tax. Like, how dumb are you?
Now we're incentivizing people to not report income.
Yeah, Jesus.
I just want people to come here the right way and to pay taxes like the rest of us. Okay, well, you're incentivizing the opposite.
Okay, I think it's time. Oh, I'm gonna play some games.
Give me 1 sec. A PayPal just came through. Give me 1 sec. I wanted to read it off. Sorry, this is taking a second. Okay. Sorry, it was taking forever to load. Anne, thank you for that PayPal. You said day laborers came from all over the country to help with wildfires. Heard an estimate on CNN that 10% of LA County residents are undocumented. Yeah.
Someone asked what games do I play? I'm gonna play the new Dune game. I'm gonna stream it on my alt account, which is this one right here. If you guys want to follow this account, I'm gonna go live on this account and play Dune, and it's gonna be absolutely awesome. Enjoy your game. Will. I in no way am I ever guys. I will never play PUBG ever again. Not even if there's a fire. Fuck that game. I'm so burnt out on that shit. We're gonna nerd out.
Get the mats, man. Get the mats.
I'm gonna go play. I will see you guys in a little bit. I'm gonna grab some food too, but I'll probably just go live and eat. So I'll see you on a second, chat. Nemo, it was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you having me up.
Anytime,
Later.
bro. Take it easy. Guys, if you haven't followed Nemo, follow him. Fantastic guy. Love him. Caught him? No, dude. No, 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 no. W. Nichols. I love that. I'm going to go learn. Catch you later, Brandon.